Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. We got it off to a heck of a start last night in the ESPN's Bowl Week with a great one in Memphis, Tennessee. Why not again this evening? Well, I think that's exactly what we're going to see, Gary Danielson, with the North Carolina State team that, as we mentioned, continue to improve over the years. Speaking of improvement, Tony Smith, number 18, one of the deep backs. Folks, he led the nation in kickoff returns in 1989. Very good. And to his right is number 23, Pat Wynn. Pat is a reserve defensive back out of Huntsville, Alabama. And you're looking now at Mark Fowle. Had some problems earlier this year with the knee injury, but now is well, and he and Damon Hartman have been alternating as far as the kicking duties with the Wolfpack this season. Had a lot of fun being around these kids the last couple of days, and of course all the festivities here in Birmingham, and they do it upright, and the kids really have a big time, and particularly when you're treated as nicely as they have been down here in Birmingham. Great Southern hospitality. Fowle has his left hand in the air. He talks with the referee and he says, let's move forward and get this one underway. The 1990 All-American Bowl. They're going to try to take it away from Smith, and a fair catch is called for and made by Gabe Peck at the 26-yard line. Offensively, Brett Favre will open it up at quarterback. The youngster out of Pass Christian, Mississippi. And he will have behind him Tony Smith, and he's a burner, along with Vic Roland Johnson. The wide receivers, Michael Jackson and Mark Montgomery. Jackson probably the favorite. Anthony Harris is the tight end. And the men up front in the trenches. Camacho is the center. The guards will be Braley and Marsh. The offensive tackles, Ben Grimm and Chris Riles. Southern Mississippi comes out with a little bit of a different look to open the ball game tonight, Gary. They're going to go with two tight ends, so Marcus Pope gets a start and only one running back. Two wideouts, two tight ends. Play action. Smith stumbled, and Favre going to go long on a broken pattern, and it is caught by Michael Jackson inside the 30 to the 27-yard line.
Perfect example of what I talk about that Brett can do for you, Ron. He's got the strength, he's got a huge arm, but a little bit of a play action here, and he has imagination with the ball. He reminds me of Terry Bradshaw. Comes out, he's a little bit rough right now, but look at him, 230 pounds, he looks around, and then he makes something happen. Throws from all kind of different angles, and Jackson gets in the open and makes the big play on the first play.
Well, I said that Jackson probably the favorite, and you could tell right there what he did in breaking off a broken route and did a good job with it. 47 yards in the pass play. Smith again the lone setback for Southern Mississippi. This time from the 27. And as you can see, Favre comes out from under center, calls a timeout.
Well, he had that 25-second clock running down on him that time. Everybody was celebrating so much and so happy they forgot to get the play in.
Now there's a look at Jeff Bauer, the new head coach at Southern Mississippi, and he remarked in our meeting day before yesterday that it was going to be a totally new experience for him being on the sideline because it's been so many years. He's been upstairs.
Well, he's been an assistant coach and out of it now for about 13 years, but he's always been a spotter as a grad assistant or a coordinator up in the box, so he's just going to try to stay healthy, he told us tonight.
He said yesterday afternoon it was kind of cold and blustery here at the stadium as the team worked out, and I said, you know, where are you going to station yourself? And he said, Ron, actually I'm going to try to get out of the way. He said, if I could get one of those stands like a band director uses, he said that probably would be best because I can get back away from everybody.
He's really the perfect guy for this job, at least for this game. It remains to be seen what he's going to do in the long run. It's his alma mater, and he loves the job, and he's really excited about it, but he knows the guys and everybody feels comfortable for him.
Smith and Mike Wells, the two setbacks this time. Option, and the pitch comes to Smith, and I'll tell you what, he may have to look for some new shoes. That's twice that he has slipped tonight. Just take a look defensively at NC State. Logo is the nose guard, and he's a very good one. We'll call his name a lot tonight. The two defensive tackles, Elijah Austin and Mike Jones. The inside backers, Billary Haynes, along with Dave Merritt. The outside backers, Edmund and Tyler Lawrence. Keep an eye for 58. He's going to be a super one. Joe Johnson and Sebastian Savage are the corners, and the safeties. Watch Jesse Campbell along with Mr. Vincent. They are two very good ones in that secondary. to 84. Eric Williams. Ball is turned over. They continue to battle for it, and Jesse Campbell has come up with the football.
Very simple little pass play right here. Tight end just cooks over the middle of the field. Brett looks around, finds his tight end right over the middle of the field. Williams puts it right in there, and they call this one down. Obviously, if we had a little replay right here, they would call that a fumble, but they're calling him down. You can see it again. He's going to go right in between the two inside linebackers. Boom, the ball's right on the numbers, and the ball comes out long before he goes down. Big break for Southern Miss. Tough one for the Wolfpack.
Dave Merritt is the man who made the hit. As you look at Dick Sheridan, and he is trying to protest, but not going to do him any good. Here he's hit my imagination, or did Southern Mississippi change uniforms? They were in black and gold when they warm up.
They warmed up with gold pants, and they came out in all black. I don't know if they've even done that this year. Maybe it was a little bit of a...
Smith. Sebastian Savage is the man who came up and really cracked him hard. You could hear from that microphone down on the field the pop.
I'll tell you, Sebastian Savage and Jesse Campbell, the All-American number 42, laid one on too. The tempo was set by Fernandez Vincent and Jesse Campbell. There you see the right side, number 85, the tight end Marcus Pope, the sophomore, gets the block, but boy, Campbell comes out of that secondary and lays one. They set the tempo, like a Ronnie Lott, the safety. He's going to set the hitter, an All-American, and he is quite a football player.
3 times All-Conference. Smith to the left. Good pursuit, excellent defensive play as Vincent comes from his strong safety position to knock him down for a loss. And Corey Edmond was the guy in containment who did a great job.
Corey Edmond defeated the block on the tight end and came out and made him run a little wider than they want to and gave time for Vincent to come out and make the play. You're right, Ron. 3rd and 5, big play already here.
One of the things that the Wolfpack does extremely well on defense in Southern Mississippi is having to find out that maybe they are an easier ball club to come straight at because laterally
they run very well.
Yep. Farthing 3rd down. Good protection. Over the middle, incomplete. Had him open for a moment, Marcus Pope, and it was just a little too tall. Jones and Logo were applying pressure.
They applied pressure, but he had a good amount of time to throw the ball. Give credit to the secondary on that one. Brett hung in there as long as he could, and he still got one off, and he was a little high with it. Now we're going to see something a little different. The kicker here.
Well, you almost feel like, we talked about it, like an antique, because number 22, Jimmy Taylor, his teammates call him Stump, a straight-on kicker. You just don't see many anymore. 29-yard attempt, and he is no good. So Southern Mississippi mounts a good drive, and they come away empty. PN's Bowl Week. The 1990 All-American Bowl is brought to you by Volkswagen. Say the word, Farfig Nougat. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen. And by Red Lobster, for the seafood lover in you. That's a beautiful shot of the Galleria here in Birmingham, Alabama. No score with 11-14. Southern Mississippi, good opportunity, and they come away with nothing. Jordan to throw on 1st down. Has it complete to Davenport, and he will pick up the 1st down. Let's take a look at the starters after that gain of 12. Terry Jordan out of Tampa, Florida, the starter at quarterback, the nephew of Leroy Jordan. Greg Maynard, one of the running backs, along with Gary Downs, 2 good ones. Wide receivers, Davenport, who just made the catch. He also is a quarterback, and Juergens. The tight end is Todd Harrison. He's huge at 250. And we'll take a look at the rest of the lineup as the Wolfpack is back at the line of scrimmage. Straight ahead with a hand up is Maynor, and let's take another look at the starters up front. It is Clyde Hawley and Rich Pokrant are the guards, and Mike G. and Scott Woods are the offensive tackles. Charlie Cobb, you saw him just before the play, the senior from West Columbia, South Carolina. Started all 11 games this year, and in fact is a grad student. Very, very good academically. Jordan's pass overthrown. That was intended for Aubrey Shaw. And let's check out the Golden Eagles defensively. Ron Brown, the starter at nose guard. Tim Roberts and Pete Antonio. The defensive ends, Singleton and Reed. And the linebackers on the inside, Lynch and Arnie Williams. The cornerbacks, Simi Carter and Ben Washington. And the safeties, Gabe Peck and Kerry Valerie. Ron Brown, by the way, his father, remember, a very good tight end with the name of Brown. Well, that's it. Jordan going to go long and incomplete at the 30-yard line, and the NC State bench is jumping up and down. They wanted pass interference as a little too tall for Ricky Turner.
Well, Ricky Turner had him beat right there, and Terry just threw that ball a little bit too late and a little too high, and Ben Washington was able to come back and make the play, but he was open by about 5 or 6 yards, and that was really incidental contact.
Preston Pogue in to kick for North Carolina State as you look at Tony Smith. There's Preston, an average of 40 yards, and the thing that Vic Sheridan said he wants to make sure that his punter does tonight, he doesn't want any great returns. He wants elevation on the punt. Fair catch called for and made at the 33 as Southern Mississippi put on good pressure. Still no score. 10:01 left to play in this opening quarter. NC State and Southern Mississippi, each with an opportunity on offense, and each has come away with nothing. Let's see what the Golden Eagles can do right here, dressed in black with white numerals tonight. Smith tries the left side, still with a second effort. Will go up to around the 37 as Mark Thomas, the junior out of Lilburn, Georgia, is there defensively for the Wolfpack.
Southern Miss is going to use a little no huddle in this game tonight. In the second series, and you're going to see it right now, Brett is going to come to the line of scrimmage and read the defense and just call about 6 or 8 plays that they've been working on, a couple passes, a few runs.
New wrinkle for the bowl game here. Look, flea flicker, going to go long, and he's looking for Michael Jackson, and he has it inside the 15.
Little flea flicker off the pitch action. Smith laterals it back to him, and he was out there. I mean, he had to throw that a long way. Actually, Jackson could have sold it a little better, and he started into his route a little early, and he let it fly. There you see it. He actually takes off before Brett gets his hands on the ball, and there you see it. He's open, and he has to say, now watch how he shields it. He slows down, and still catches it on the run. Very good job, and keeps Vincent on his back right there.
52 yards in that pass play, 47 on the first play from scrimmage.
Reminds me of Bradshaw. What do you think? Bradshaw's a good one? You like that so far?
Physically, he looks a lot like him and throws the ball a lot like him as far as strength of arm. Smith has been the workhorse. Ooh, does he get branded at the line of scrimmage. Lawrence went by him, and then Mark Thomas finished it.
Here you see it. The little wrinkle is they run it off the pitch, and watch Brett. He goes back, nice pitch back, very soft, and he lets it rip. This guy's got a cannon, I'm telling you, and a nice job by Michael Jackson right there.
You know, the difference in that play right there is most of the time a flea flicker is faked into the middle of the line because you generally have better protection because of more people. He was running that like a slant. You normally don't see it run
that way. Did it off the pitch with the one back, a little different wrinkle.
Nelson and Eddie Ray Jackson have come into the ball game in the back. Pass for the end zone is caught for the touchdown by Montgomery.
What a touch. What a nice job by the freshman, stretching out for it. Brett read the blitz and put it right on the money. There you see the all-out blitz. The Wolfpack's coming. He gets just enough time. One guy's coming free, but he lays it up. He's got a nice touch on the ball. Lawrence is coming free, and look at him, stretching out the young freshman. True freshman, Montgomery makes the catch.
Extra point, he's no good. So Jim Taylor is off to a shaky start in this one tonight, having missed the 29-yard field goal and now the extra point.
Let me tell the rest of the audience that you've been predicting these all week. You know, the last couple days we've been here, you've been saying because of the angle of the field and the crown on the field, it might be a little tough for a straight-on kicker, and he's kind of missed both of them so far.
Yeah, from the middle of the field, yeah, I'm not too sure it wouldn't offset him a little bit.
That might be a good idea. Look at the touch on the big guy right here. He's out of bounds, but he comes back in. You can do that in college football. He got shoved out of bounds, come back in and get it. There you see it. It's easy, huh, Coach? You have a number one quarterback, just let him rip the ball up there. And the quarterback, yeah, take a shot, roll back. Another one signal. One glove on, too. You notice that? That's for Michael Jackson. No, it's just let it go.
So he goes on the headsets, visiting upstairs. And, of course, the quarterback coach is Rodney Allison, a former quarterback at Texas Tech University. And he is upstairs along with offensive coordinator Mark McHale. So 7-0 as Southern Mississippi goes out front first. Taylor's kickoff, very short, very high. It is taken by an upback at the 30-yard line. It's Chuck Browning. And he brings it out to the 35-yard line. Jerry Punch. Let's go to him right now for an update.
Gentlemen, the play you saw run just a little bit ago, the fake draw, flea flicker pass that you're watching right now was a Christmas present from offensive coordinator Mark McHale's father. That's Dr. Mark McHale, 79-year-old veterinarian from Winchester, Virginia, who's a big Washington Redskin fan. He was watching the Redskins over Christmas, saw the play, diagrammed it on a napkin, and gave it to his son Mark and said, hey, take this play to the bowl game and use it. It'll work. And indeed it did, guys.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Gary Downs on the carry right there. Singleton is there to make the play. Southern Mississippi had the quarterback and the dive man handled well, but nobody was right on down.
Well executed. You know, if that's true, besides being a veterinarian, the father must be a good salesman to sell an offensive line coach on one of those plays. That doesn't happen too often.
7:30 left to play in this opening quarter. 6-0, Southern Mississippi. Jordan has it complete, and Charles Davenport really takes some punishment from the secondary. Peck came up along with Ben Washington.
Terry Jordan is just getting into playing and feeling comfortable as a quarterback. But one of the things he's going to have to learn is to beware of the obvious. I mean, the Mississippi defense, Southern Mississippi defense at that time was showing the blitz. He audible to a little blitz audible, and they backed out into zone. He just had the short pass to throw to. So he's going to learn that.
Also, they went max protect, and they only had 2 men on that pattern.
It was a blitz audible he went to. That's what we were talking about there.
Oh, good strong run by Maynard. Across midfield and down to the 46-yard line. He's going to be shy of the first down by a couple. Arnie Williams made the stop. But Maynard, 6 feet, 244 pounds, commands some respect and attention.
Well, he's going to follow Hawley right here, and Scott Woods, the true freshman, number 79, and pop it up in there. Greg Maynard, just a sophomore, and their leading rusher this year, averaging 4.2 yards a carry. He's going to be around for a couple more years. They run the fullback. You talk to Coach Sheridan, he likes to establish that fullback early.
Little influence action there, and he gets it out to Davenport. He will have the first down plus about 8 as he takes it down to the 35-yard line. Silly Carter defensively.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to Charles Davenport. He went up to the coach when the team was struggling a little bit and said, Coach, I want to be on the field. Put me at wide receiver. Terry can do the job. Give him the ball to me. And he's added some speed to this football team. You know, he's a big guy, a big target. And that's the type of unselfishness you have to have a winning program.
6'4", 210 pounds. And you were saying before the game that he looks even bigger.
Yeah, he looks big in his uniform on the field. Can't believe he's a quarterback.
Downs on the sweep. Gets strung out and then gets put out. Singleton was the first man that came over along with Ben Washington. And both of these ball clubs are excellent in pursuit.
They both run so well. Of course, NC State's got that great run defense. But watch the guys run for Southern Miss. They just flow across the field, and they've got some good secondary players. You'll see Ben Washington come up here and put a finish on this play. And boy, that's one right on the sidelines and knocks him out and gets a couple coaches on the way too.
Second down. A long 6 or short 7, however you want to call it. Jordan over the middle to Harrison, his tight end, breaks off a tackle, and the 250-pound junior makes it 1st and goal, NC State, 21 yards.
All right, we said Terry Jordan had to learn some things. Well, he learned something there. He saw the deep double zone, and he audible to the tight end right up the middle, throwing the ball to Todd Harrison. Great job by Terry Jordan right there. Sees the defense, goes back, little play-action pass, lets the back make the fake, and he's got the tight end right down the middle, throws it right in his face, exactly what you're supposed to do. And Todd Harrison, he's got a cast on, playing this game with a cast, and makes a nice catch.
250 pounds. Jordan wanting his share of attention. 4 of 6, and he shows he can run as he scores. Everybody has talked about offense, I mean defense, and all of a sudden we have seen an offensive show here by both clubs in this opening quarter.
Beautiful drive right there. Nice fake to the fullback. They established him, and then they ran the little option off.
Mark Fauble. That thing partially blocked, but he got it through, and with that, NC State takes a 1-point lead. Along with Gary Danielson and Dr. Jerry Punch at Legion Field in Birmingham. 7-6, NC State goes on top.
One more look. They're going to fake it up to the offense. One of the signatures of the Southern Miss defense is the linebackers play deep. This time they go for the fake, opens it up for Jordan to run the option. Great block here by the offensive tackle, the true freshman, number 79, Scott Woods. Watch him in the left side of your screen. He just folds down the line and creates a huge hole for Jordan to take it into the touchdown.
It was the absolute perfect play because besides the fact that they scored 7 plays, 65 yards, that defensive tackle was on an inside stunt or an inside influence, and he just took him right there with him.
Took that one step, the linebacker scraped the wrong way, and there was a big hole there.
Wobbles kickoff. Again, they go high and they go short. Taken by Smith, fumbles the ball, lost his footing, and who has it? NC State has made the recovery. And Gary, for the 3rd time in the football game, he has lost his footing. And in fact, he slid on by the ball.
Yeah, you're right. It was another one of those sky kicks, a real high kick. The up man should have fair caught the ball. Watch him. He runs away from it, puts it tough on Tony Smith. Hits him right in the hands, and there it is. Boy, that's a Christmas present laying right there. And he just ends up with it. And this is one of the things Southern Mississippi has not done all year, is put their defense in bad situations like this. They're on the 25-yard line. They haven't seen it very often this season.
Gianna Moore made the recovery for NC State. Here they come with a little reverse action. Davenport, who, of course, is the backup quarterback of Southern Mississippi, is right there not only to diagnose it, but to knock it down for a 6-yard loss.
Yeah, Kerry Valerie, the great free safety for Southern Miss, just smelled it out and was right there at the line of scrimmage. They had to play well diagnosed. Davenport does provide this offense with another dimension, though. Gives him speed on the outside, some size. And he's also out there able to talk to Terry Jordan.
Plus, like he can throw.
Yeah, and that's next.
Set the reverse of the pitch with him coming around and let him put it up in the air. 7-6, NC State by 1, and they have just recovered a fumble on the kickoff. Draw play, Liddell George. Boy, there's some hitting going on down on the field at the 22-yard line. He's going to be stopped. Rod Reed, one of the first men to get there.
Liddell George comes in. He's just a freshman also. Comes in and gives you that specialist who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's the number 2 leading receiver on the team with 20 catches. In the long yardage situations, you're going to see him coming out of the backfield.
3rd down. They need the 15-yard line. Jordan under heavy pressure, gets it away, it is complete, and that will be enough for the first down. Al Bird has the football. Now let's go back to Jerry Punch.
Gentlemen, we see some people slipping on the turf tonight. You're looking at the shoes that teams are wearing. The first one worn by Southern Mississippi is the Converse Turf Pro 150. You see the Turf Pro 150 means 150 little turf nodules on the bottom of the shoe. NC State, on the other hand, is wearing the same shoe in a Nike brand, the Nike Mako, basically a turf shoe. Now, the field very, very wet. A lot of water here in this turf from the hash marks on out. You saw that catch trying to make the return in the kickoff. They fumbled the ball. The field really damp on the outside. Gentlemen?
Well, so far has been somewhat of a factor. It has caused a turnover here early, as we saw Smith not only fumbled the ball, but he couldn't get back to it. Jordan almost had the ball knocked away, and now is going to be sacked. Singleton got to him as a secondary rush man, but the first guy was Pete Antonio.
I think they might have got a little face mask. Yeah, a little face mask as he came by. Tough break right there. Another blitz audible. Jordan audibles out of it, but they covered it very well. Here you'll see it. Antonio goes by, and he just reaches out and just barely grabs onto the face mask, and that's the call, a good call. That's a tough break. They had a sack. They had the right defense on. They covered well, and they end up, having a gain because of the inadvertent face mask.
Gary, the point that you make also was very well taken in the fact that they have not put, Southern Mississippi has not put their defense in bad field position for the most part of this year.
Steve Hale talked about that. That was one of the keys to his defensive team all year. Defensive coordinator.
Straight ahead with the fullback, breaks off the tackle, and Maynard, still pumping those big legs, is inside the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. 244 pounds.
When you talk to Dick Sheridan, he says that they have to physically establish that fullback to make the offense go. They want to run the options. They want to run the play-action passes. If they can have that type of success running the ball on first down, they're going to be tough to stop tonight.
2 minutes and 50 seconds left in this opening quarter. And the reason for the pause right now is they're bringing in the change to see if it was, in fact, a first down. By golly, and stretching it out, he's not going to have it. You can see misses it by half the length of the football. So it's going to be second down.
Yeah, to me, that just means you got 7 downs to score here. You got 3 to get the first down and 4 more to score. So I don't think you see anything too fancy.
Southern Mississippi's defense has now been on the field for a time because they were out for the initial series when NC State scored.
And then they had the
now
quick
after
strikes.
the fumble.
And then they had the quick offensive plays too. So you're right about that.
Straight ahead with the quarterback sneak is Jordan. He will have the first down and takes it in the vicinity of the 2-yard line.
Very short yardage. This time he just follows Cobb and Hawley and the right guard Pokrant and just wedges it up in there. Now it's just 2.5 yards to go for a touchdown, and let's see if we can find that fullback or maybe that option play again. That one worked pretty well. They're into their power set though.
Off the tailback, flies to the right side, still no signal, and now they say touchdown, Gary Downs.
Was a nice surge by the offensive line, but watch the freshman Gary Downs, number 45, 195 pounds, just take it and just almost fly into the end zone. There you see it. The offensive linemen are going to try to score first, and he just up in the air. It looked like he about jumped from the 5-yard line, put 1 foot down, and just got the ball across the line.
Foul to attempt the extra point, and he nails it. So 2:15 left in the opening quarter. NC State 14-6. .215 left here at Legion Field in this opening quarter, and we have seen some explosiveness, particularly from NC State. They recover a fumble and do a good job of taking the opportunity and scoring again. Total yards, NC State 104, and they've got 14 points. Southern Mississippi has 128 points, and they have 6. And this guy right here, Smith, is the one that they tried to kick away from. And, you know, your observation that up man should have taken it, and Smith, I guess, just called him off. He wanted to take it on the run.
Right, he called him off like the center fielder should, I guess, in that situation. But they need to fair catch those and just be happy with the ball on the 30-yard line. That's where they're going to get it when they kick it that high.
Pat Wynn is number 23, who is back deep with Tony Smith.
Very effective weapon, I'll tell you. You got a good returner, just put it up in the air.
And he does the same thing. Very high, angles it to the right, but Smith will return for the 19. Good job of coverage for the Wolfpack at the 31. Mike Nichols led the way.
One more time on the touchdown. The right guard, Poke Grant, right tackle, Gee get it, and then there he goes. Downs up into the air. It doesn't at first look like he crossed, but look at Cobb. He sees the signal, looks both ways with the touchdown.
Traffic cops.
He jumps from the 4. He flies in. Now let's see if he gets over. First time, no. Bounces a little bit and lunges the ball across. It was a touchdown.
The number 2 offensive line for Southern Mississippi is in the ballgame. Lacoste, McReynolds, Anderson, Henderson, and Reggie Russell. We will talk more about that. Southern Mississippi has done it all year long. They do one, and then they do their number 2 offensive line. It just worked well. Far over the middle to Dwayne Nelson. Breaks off the tackle, and will have the first down, I believe, at the 42 as Mike Jones wrestles him down.
Dwayne Nelson this time comes out, a little delay pass. Watch him check right here. He's just waiting. He's going to him all the way. The receivers down the field, they're just running long. They're not even looking for the ball. This is the delay pass. Nice job by Nelson, the sophomore. Takes the ball for the first down.
Gary, you keep a lot of people very happy when you do things like substitute an entire offensive line because people come to practice with a different attitude,
no doubt about it. And if you have enough confidence to play those guys, I think those guys respond and do the job for you. 2 series for the first guy, 1 series for the backup.
Play action by Favre. Looking going to go long, Montgomery, and he's got it at the 27-yard line. Savage trying to make the cover, but Montgomery, who caught the touchdown pass earlier in the first quarter for Southern Mississippi, came back and pulled it in.
Well, Montgomery is such a treat to watch. Just a freshman. Little play-action pass again right here. Stays back. Knows he's going to get hit. Has a little touch on, but watch Montgomery react to the ball, come back, shield it, and make the play. Just a true freshman. Here it is one more time. Gets knocked down as he lets it go, but puts a little touch on it and throws it to a spot.
6 of 7 for 161 yards for Favre now, and he has hit 4 in a row. Final minute of this opening quarter. It's been a fun one. Both teams up and down the field offensively. Draw play to Smith, and nicely diagnosed by Mike Jones.
Yeah, he ripped the ball out again, though.
Going to be a loss of 1, maybe a couple. See where they put it down. Yeah, they're going to spot it at around the 26-yard line.
Mike Jones is second-team All-ACC defensive tackle. He's got 10 sacks on the year. But Buddy Green, defensive coordinator for NC State, says the key to this game is to rush the passer, but play the draw. They don't want that draw to hurt them all night, and so far they've kept aware of it.
Could be the last play of this opening quarter. Clock is down to 13 and now 12. Favre gets it out to Nelson, who has circled out of the backfield, makes 1 spin away, and then takes it to the 20-yard line. As Billy Ray Haynes, the junior from Forest City, makes the tackle on what is the final play of this opening quarter. So, from the All-American Bowl, 14-6, NC State. The All-American Bowl is off and running more than, so to speak. 20 points in the opening period, and Southern Mississippi, here on this opening play of the second quarter, is driving and threatening. Well, I think you could tell what has just happened on the field was a designed situation. They were trying to draw him offside.
3rd and about 6. They went with the long snap count right there, and they drew him offsides. They knew it was a pass rush situation, and that's where they went.
Well, we mentioned off the top of the telecast, Curly Hallman was the head coach at Southern Mississippi, and he took the head coaching job at LSU. And Bugar, Buckley, Edmondson, and Steve Davis, those are the coaches that he took with him. So the Southern Mississippi coaching staff now is Jeff Bauer, who was at Oklahoma State this past year, along with Rodney Allison, Mark McHale, Vogt, Hale, and Freeman Horton. And Stacy Dennis has come in at quarterback for Southern Mississippi. Number 5. He is a redshirt sophomore from Baton Rouge. Fumble the snap. Nobody is there. And winds up with a semi-option, which looks like it's going to be enough for the first down. I don't think it was drawn up that way.
I hope that one wasn't designed. I'll tell you, it's nice to use all your football players, and I'm sure the guy likes playing, but it's hard to see taking out number 4 on a play, especially the type of big, strong kid he has. Well, they got the first down, and they might just march this thing into the end zone again. And by the way, remember, they're using their second offensive line on this drive.
Eddie Ray Jackson comes into the ballgame. Number 32, he's the lone setback for Southern. Gets the handoff, little stutter step, and he gets stuttered backwards. I'll tell you what, these two defenses love to come up and put a hat on you and didn't get a lot of help from friends, and they have demonstrated it extremely well tonight.
Well, Brett Favre has got off to a great start. He's hit a couple of big bombs, and he's been distributing the ball pretty well. But Southern Miss better be able to run the ball a little bit more effectively, because it's all going to go right onto his shoulders, and that's kind of tough for any football player. They must run the ball a little bit better against the Wolfpack defense.
Good look at Jeff Bauer. We're talking about 15 years that you've been in the press box rather than down on the field. It does make a heck of a difference. Favre, blitz, touchdown Montgomery.
Saw the signal right there. They're going to go for 2 again, but that's what Favre can do. He's just so impressive. Ron, I was on the field before the game. He's got a cannon. I mean, he can rocket the ball. And this time he's going to throw it on the run. Look out, NFL. This guy's going to Sunday nights here on ESPN next.
I tell you. Boy.
That was in his hand, out of his hand, before anybody could move into Montgomery's stomach.
Montgomery, the freshman out of Picayune, Mississippi, with his second touchdown pass of the night. And as Gary said, because of the miss of the extra point, Southern Mississippi having to go for 2. So they elect to take it just off the center of the field. They don't really choose a hash mark.
Oh, they got it.
Pressured, they got it. Tie ball game as Mike Welch. NC State had guessed right and really had pressure on Favre, who was a little bit slow in getting up. He got tagged as he threw it.
Boy, he is just a tough, gritty kid and what a leader. But there it is. You're going to see the blitz here by Vincent. He's got a couple guys in his face. Look at him throw that ball off the back foot. He just lets that ball go from any position. Sometimes he has a couple bad habits with it, but he can really fire the ball.
So with 13:42 left until halftime, we are tied. NC State 14 and Southern Mississippi 14. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Gentlemen, both teams were surprised when they came in the locker room tonight. The Southern Miss players have wanted to wear black pants all year long. They normally wear gold. Well, they have black tonight, and they were motivated. The last time NC State wore red pants, 1987 in Durham, North Carolina against Duke. And what a slugfest they had. NC State won 47-45 on a last-minute field goal. And again, they're wearing red pants tonight. And what a slugfest we got here. 28 points, and we're just early in the second quarter. Ron?
Jerry, that's the best way to put it, too. Slug. I mean, these guys have really gone after each other. Kick return will be out across the 25 to the 26.
They've gone after each other hard and clean. I mean, we haven't had the offsides and penalties all night.
Very few plays.
I mean, they've just been going at it with clean football, and they've been doing a good job. Very skilled football players. As we say that, there was a flag on the play, right?
A procedure call against Southern Mississippi. The only thing I could figure with procedures, they had too many men on the field. Is that possible? Montgomery now 3 catches, 57 yards. He had no touchdown receptions during the year, and he already has 2 in this one this evening.
Really got to love the moxie about this Montgomery. The coach told us, Mark McHale, the offensive coordinator, says when he was recruiting him as a high school player, he said next year, coach, is going to be Favre to Montgomery all year. This is a freshman kid. He's about 5'8", 180 pounds maybe, and he just worked his way up, and now he's a big time. Got great hands and goes out and gets the job done.
Dick Sheridan thinks this one over, and he says, let's make them kick it again, gentlemen. So that's what they're going to do. Favre talks upstairs. Yesterday was just a day that even the Ducks would not have enjoyed here in Birmingham. It was very cold and blustery. The clouds were down into the upper deck of the stadium, and I mean tonight we started off at 60 degrees. It has dropped since, but it is a tremendously comfortable evening, really good for football. And the crowd continues to come in here to see this All-American Bowl. Taking this time at the 22 by George. And he will return it to the 35, now the 36-yard line, so they'll wind up getting about 10 yards advantage off that. And the storyline in this one so far is we already have seen 28 points tallied in the ballgame. As Favre is 8 of 9, 179 yards and the 2 touchdowns. NC State 7 points off turnovers. NC State 2 touchdowns, first 3 possessions, and 7 tackles so far. Over the 45 to the 47-yard line is Gary Downs.
Nice job by Terry Jordan here on the option. Ron Lynch is going to scrape in the linebacker and really put a hit on him, but he does it really calmly, pitches the ball back to Downs. He's got a big play out of it. Brett Favre is on his way to the pros, but Terry Jordan is keeping pace for pace. And by the way, Ron, he's got a big-time arm also.
Aubrey Shaw comes in the game as Jordan 5 of 7, 56 yards so far. Over the middle, little delay route, almost broke off the tackle. Shaw, who we were just talking about, he's a sophomore from Hartsville, South Carolina, 5'11", 200 pounds.
That's one of the nice things Aubrey Shaw can do is he comes in as a running back and flanks out as a wide receiver. So you're really without a change or a substitution. You can give the defensive look of 3 wide receivers, and he comes across and catches the ball very well. Very valuable football player.
He's the guy that they say in the obvious passing situations, as you point out.
Well, he's the leading receiver on the football team. He's got 34 catches, and he's averaging 8 yards a catch.
Straight ahead with the handoff, and it will be enough for the first down. Well, it has been fun so far, and more action coming up on Bowl Week. The SeaWorld Holiday Bowl, number 13 BYU against the Aggies of Texas A&M. It's tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Time, and then Gary and I will be down in Jacksonville for the meeting between Michigan and Ole Miss, number 12 and number 15. First time in the history of the schools that they have ever squared off. They've never
played. To that football game.
LaBelle George and Aubrey Shaw. The backs, and the handoff goes to Shaw. Boy, he is quick, but he was not quick enough to get away from the initial contact at the line of scrimmage, as he is stopped at the 30-yard line by Clevon Colbert, redshirt freshman out of Columbus, Georgia.
Well, the philosophy on defense is very similar to the philosophy on offense. There's no pattern, but they play a lot of people. This time the draw, and Colbert comes in, grabs the ankle, and makes the play. A lot of these Southern Miss people play throughout the game. A little more situation substitution for the defense.
On the draw plays so far, 6 times NC State has run the draw. 42 yards is what they've garnered from it. Gordon Reese is our referee tonight. He comes over to confer, and they are looking up at the clock, which shows 11 minutes and 55 seconds to play until halftime.
I mean, these 2 teams are moving the ball up and down the field, and everybody said this is going to be a defensive struggle.
That's what I made that mention in the first quarter. We were looking for a low-scoring game, and we've already had 28 points.
Yeah, I mean, this is a type of a team, 8-3. Remember, this is a team, Southern Miss, that have played 8 road games. I mean, that's quite a feet winning 8 games when you have 8 of them on the road.
And when you consider the fact that they have beaten both teams that are in the Fiesta Bowl, right, and the fact that the only team to knock off Louisville, that was one of their home games. They played that one at Hattiesburg. Jordan drills it, has it complete at the 25 to Bobby Juergens. Juergens is the big play guy, averages almost 27 yards per reception. Missed 5 games because of a dislocated shoulder.
That's it right here. When he came back is when he got the big catches this year. He had the dislocated shoulder, had a couple of big, only 9 catches on the year. But right then, Terry Jordan again went to an audible. It wasn't there. They moved it into a zone cut, and they were on the same page in a very nicely executed football play.
You know, interesting about Juergens, he walked on, wanted to, if nothing else, hold for the kickers, and now has moved into the lineup as a regular. Straight ahead, not much doing for Maynor that time, as Miller is right there. 6 straight passes completed by Jordan now in the ballgame, as he is 7 of 9. And NC State is doing primarily what they had rather do. Now, they will mix in the pass, as we've seen tonight, but they had rather run the football. That's just Dick Sheridan.
Yeah, his philosophy is I'm going to run it till they stop it. But tonight he said, I'm not going to be hard-headed. He knows this is a good football team. He's going to go to the pass and the play-action pass. Look for a little misdirection bootleg right here.
Maynor is the man behind him, and slotted to the right is Aubrey Shaw.
Calling the audible.
See the blitz coming from the corner, and they're going to get it. James Singleton was the first man to get there, but I'm telling you, they needed a traffic cop. They were coming from every direction.
9 players came on that blitz, just the 2 corners. Everybody stayed in to block, so everybody that had a man came in and rushed and covered that man on the rush. There you see Terry Jordan. You watch this. Everybody's coming. Everybody's got a man. They're all in their track stances. And here they come from the outside, and the other remaining people have the backs and the blocking backs, and they come late. You know, as a blitz, when a blitz is on as a quarterback right there, you have to realize you're not going to have much time. If it's not there, get rid of it. There's no room to run the ball.
Under pressure again, gets away from it and throws it complete. And they'll take it inside the 25 down to the 21-yard line. And that was a really nice job of ad-libbing as George helped out his struggling quarterback. And that's going to be, let's see, 4th down, and they still need about 6, maybe 7.
The big play there is it got them in field goal range, and that's what they accomplished. And they got a shot at 3 points right here. Nice job by Liddell George, another freshman. Dick Sheridan is playing a lot of freshmen in this game, and he found them.
On the attempt foul ball from the near hash line. 3 of 6 on field goals this year. As we mentioned, he and Hartman have handled the chores this year.
He's gone to foul ball because he said he can get it up a little higher, and that's the real reason for it. He gets a little more elevation on the ball, and he's gone to him, and he feels they're both just as accurate as each other, but a little more height from foul ball.
To the right. Well, I think he tried to rush it just a little too much.
I think it's this end of the field, Ron. All 3 have been missed on this our right side of the field here. Let's check it right here. You see it? He just does not get under the ball, and it's wide and short all the way.
Simi Carter had a shot at it. We're still tied at 14. ESPN's Bowl Week. The 1990 All-American Bowl is brought to you by Today Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by HBO, simply the best. Beautiful shot of downtown Birmingham, Alabama. They have nurtured this bowl game and have done a tremendous job with it. I know they were really worried yesterday because the weather has not been good, and as we mentioned, tonight has turned into a very good situation and a good crowd on here. Barb throws it back, complete at the 25-yard line, and Pope, still on his feet, will take it out. Let's see, they're going to say out of bounds at the 31.
I'll tell you, they're running about every type of play you can run in this offense. When we talked to defensive coordinator Buddy Green for NC State, he says you're going to see every formation and every type of play-action pass imaginable, and they are pulling them all out tonight, and Barb's executing. That's the 2nd time he's gone to Pope. Pope's just a sophomore. He's got great potential, talking to the coaches.
Barb Favre now 9 of 10, 189 yards, and the 2 touchdowns to Montgomery. Mike Welch is the lone setback this time. Favre, as the tailback comes in a little misdirection, Favre came out there, we're going to throw a block for him. You know, one of the things we noticed about him yesterday in practice is Jerry Punch mentioned those turf shoes that everybody is wearing, but if you'll notice, number 4 has got on regular basketball shoes. Well, and they just say he likes those better.
Yeah, he warmed up with them, and I think he took them off, Ron. He had some problems in warming up with them, and I think he went back to the turf shoes he had because he was slipping. And he does like to play in the basketball shoes.
Under 8 minutes to play until halftime, tied at 14. As Favre in the play action, zips it out again to Pope, his tight end, and he takes it back into the middle. I'll tell you what, more and more in the colleges, we are seeing tight ends that are 245 and 250 and have mobility, and Pope is another one of those.
We were talking to the coaches about how Southern Miss, as Brett Favre got healthier after his car accident. Everybody knows during the summer he had a very substantial car accident and missed the first game of the year. Actually, he gained 30 pounds through the season, started the year at 198, ended at 230. They just threw the ball more and more and got the tight ends more and more involved, and that's been the key to their offense.
One of the things we need to get Dr. Jerry Punch to explain to us, he knows all the technical stuff, but Favre wound up having, they took out 30 inches of his intestine after that car accident. Eddie Ray Jackson on the carry, and he'll muscle it close to midfield. Elijah Austin here to make the stop for the Wolfpack.
The NC State Wolfpack has been very, very good at stopping the run up the middle, but Favre has just kept them off balance with the short passing game. He's very, very patient with it. He throws the ball soft. He doesn't try to gun every pass. He has some touch. Very, very impressive showing for him. Of course, he's got one more big hurdle before he gets that big money. He's going to be in the Senior Bowl next, and everybody's going to get a big look at him there.
That's a great bowl game for kids to be
and a showcase.
Yeah,
right.
You showcase your talent. Short drop, throws it complete. That's going to go for a couple of yards to Eddie Ray Jackson. And let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch. Maybe he could explain exactly what happened with Mr. Favre.
Well, gentlemen, Brett Favre was in an accident in late July. Now, he actually came out of the hospital and had gone back to practice. After his first practice, he began having stomach pains. And actually, they went to the hospital and diagnosed a possible bowel ischemia, a dead segment of bowel. They went in and made an incision in his abdomen on August 8th. On September 8th, 1 month later, he came here to Legion Field and beat Alabama.
I'm not sure that quarterbacks will go on. There might be some coaches sitting at home thinking next year before we go to Tuscaloosa, let's try it. Yeah, let's talk to our quarterback.
I'll tell you, he played that game. I talked to him at the banquet. He played that game at under 200 pounds. Tonight he's going to line up at 230. He's got linebacker size.
Well, again, they are trying to run a non-rhythmic count, and it looks as though this one has backfired on him. It's going to be procedure against Southern Mississippi.
All right, Jeff's finding the call. All right, nice to be head coach. He's on the sideline. Look at, he's already using his hat well. He knows how to throw it on and off. Throw the phones down now. That's always a good one for the head coach. See, it doesn't take long to get into the head coaching routine. He'll have ulcers like the rest of them pretty soon now, right?
Well, I think that what the official has now gone into the huddle to say to Brett that you can do it with rhythm of the count, but you can't move other parts of your body. You can't with your head or with the leg. They'll get you with procedure, isn't that right?
And that's what they called. They might have called the quarterback, I think.
I think so, yeah. 5:45 left until halftime, tied at 14. The number 1 offensive line back in the game. The number 2 led them to a score. Flag is down. It could be holding as the pass is complete inside the 25 to Greg Reed. But I think it's going to come back. "32 yards, but it is going to come back." You know, Southern Mississippi has had 3 drives now, all over 60 yards. They scored twice.
Runs up into the pocket here, Ron. Look at the size of this guy. Puts a nice touch on it. That's about a 35-yard throw right on the button. He has got immense talent. He's going to go in the first round. And what I like about him, more than the arm, more than the intelligence, he's just got a feel for the game. And you just don't teach those types of things.
Well, I hope we get a chance to visit with his dad, who was his high school coach. But I loved what you said. At the meeting day before yesterday, his dad only let him throw about 4 or 5 times a football game.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, what's going on? You were the only guy that didn't recognize that your own son could fire the ball. He looked at me, he said, we won, though. But he's coming around. They went 9-3 this year, and they went to the playoffs, and he's throwing the ball a little bit.
Tony Smith checks back into the backfield, and he has not really been a factor in this game. And that's one of the things that Dick Sheridan said he wanted to make sure that he was not. Favre gets by the pressure. Still running, going to be caught or tripped up from the backside, and he turned that play into a 50-yard run, and he winds up with about 5 yards on the play. Mark Thomas and Clayton Henry were the closest men to him.
Well, they're not going to call him a sprinter, I'll tell you that, but he has escapability. They had a screen pass on, and he couldn't get the ball to his back, so he had nothing else left to do but to run the ball.
This is the first punt by Scott Bryant tonight. Liddell George, and he's a good one. He is back in a single safety. Driving spiral, and George will take this one at the 12-yard line. So 4 minutes, 15 seconds until halftime, 14 apiece. That's how we stand. 28 points have been scored. We're all tied at 4:15 left until halftime. U.S. Army Student Athlete of the Game is brought to you by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And tonight's honoree, James Singleton, defensive end for Southern Mississippi. A 4.0 grade point average. Our congratulations to James Singleton. Aubrey Shaw catches the little swing pass, has 15, counted off at 20 to the 40-yard line, and Wynn will make the stop on him.
Aubrey Shaw is the leading receiver on the Wolfpack team, and that's how he does it. A lot of screens coming out of the backfield, nice safe passes, moving the ball. They hit you with the fullback, they run a little option. Terry Jordan gives them a lot of different weapons they can run at offense. And Dick Sheridan, that's the type of offense they like to have. Look at these numbers they've thrown up so far.
229 to 163. Doesn't show much defense, does it? Not at this juncture. Jordan on the keeper. Pitches back to Shaw. Picks up 5 and then gets hammered down pretty good by Gabe Peck. Christmas greeting, you think?
I tell you, he came out of the secondary that time. Gabe Peck, he just came out and hit him on the dead run that time on the option. There you see the linebackers. They line up deep, and they're going to try to take that fullback away, but here comes the guys from the secondary. They got 4 of them back there, and each one hits you harder than the next.
Straight ahead with the handoff is Chris Cotton. First time we've seen him carry the ball tonight. Freshman out of Greensboro, North Carolina. And in fact, he has the highest average per carry of the fullbacks, almost 5 yards per tote. And it's going to be a 3rd down situation, as I think Dick Sheridan thought they might catch Southern Mississippi napping there with the quick inside handoff. 3rd down, they still need a couple. They got to go to midfield.
They actually caught a tough defense. They had a corner blitz, so everybody was pinching on the play.
1 of 3 on 3rd down conversions for the Wolfpack. They go option, pitch back to Shaw, and he will not have it. What a great defensive play by Rod Lynch. Wow.
That's how you stop the option right there. Everybody does their job. They stop the quarterback and make a pitch, and then you run from inside out. Rod Lynch. Watch him, number 59. He's the top left of your screen. He sees the pitch, draws a bead on him, and wraps and grabs. Don't just block, tackle, grab someone.
I'll tell you what, the fans probably are not going to agree with this. Dick Sheridan's going to kick, and I don't blame him. This close to halftime, 4th and 1, all you need is a mishandled snap or something. Give Southern Miss good field position, and they wind up going and leading because of it. Playing the good percentages. Ball is fumbled, and the Wolfpack has recovered at the 23. Now, what about the decision to punt? It looks even wiser.
Well, the same people that were questioning him right there just asking for another couple years on his contract right now. Great call, Coach.
Gianna Moore makes his second recovery as Smith fumbles for the second time tonight.
Well, you like to see your return guys go up there and be aggressive and make these plays because you don't want the ball to roll down to the 10-yard line for bad field position. But that was very poor judgment. He had to dive for it. And, you got to take it. You got a guy that can drive the length of the field. You don't have to make a diving catch on a punt.
Well, his earlier fumble on a kickoff cost Southern Miss a touchdown. Let's see if NC State gets points on this one.
Well, it's the second time now they've had to turn the ball over inside their 30-yard line, and this just hasn't happened to this football team all year. Very different for the defense.
2:01 left until halftime. NC State 14 and Southern Mississippi 14. It's Cotton and Shaw, the two setbacks. Reason for the pause here, the chain gang was a little recalcitrant in getting down the far sideline to reset. Now they are ready. Terry Jordan, sophomore out of Tampa, Florida. 6'1", 192 pounds. Audible on that play. Throws the out incomplete. He wanted Davenport, and he definitely changed his play at the line of scrimmage, didn't he, Gary?
Yeah, they gave the blitz away that time, and they did all come, and he went to the right man. He just threw it a little early. He could have waited one more second. Davenport was on about a 10-yard stop route, and he was wide open.
Well, coming up at the halftime tonight, the halftime report with Tim Brando. He'll be sitting next to the fire. I like that opening.
I like that new set. Is that a new set we're going to see right by the fire? Relax.
Jordan on the keeper. Pitches the ball back to Shaw, and he will take it down to the 13-yard line. That's enough for the Wolfpack first down. Semi Carter finally pushed him out of bounds.
This is an unbalanced line. They're trying to get one more guy on the pitch man right here. He runs it as far as he can. But watch Terry Jordan, number 17, after he pitches the ball. He pitches, and then just like his uncle, goes out and gets a block on the left side of your screen. Gets the big block as a quarterback. Upper right-hand part of your screen. He's already pitched it, and he comes down and throws a block. That's about all you can do as a quarterback. Fake it, pitch it, and block.
This time is in trouble. Going to be caught behind the line, Antonio. Pete, the junior from Titusville, and that is an extremely large play with the clock running at 1:20 until halftime.
Big play, transfer, a walk-on here, 6'2", 265. He's got 5 sacks on the season this year, and he's their leading tackler on the defensive line. A great football player, an intense football player.
Probably the best description, overachiever. He goes above the level of maybe what he should be able to play. Lavelle George in the backfield, and remember, just like Shaw, they love to throw to him. He was a strong safety until the 6th game of the year. That pass to Davenport, incomplete. Couldn't gather it at the 5-yard line. Ben Washington had the cover. Now it's going to be a 3rd down play. Clock stopped with 57 ticks left.
No big mystery right there. That was a blitz look all the way. Jordan knew it. Everybody on the field knew it. I even think most of the people in the stands obviously knew it was going to be a blitz, but they're just not executing it. Ben Washington had good enough coverage to make him throw a perfect throw, and Terry didn't throw it.
You see, Dick Sheridan was upset about execution on the play. It is 3rd down. They can pick up the first, but they must take it to the 1-yard line. Jordan has a man over the middle, and incomplete, and the flag comes in. Al Bird hops up saying Ben Washington interfered with him, and let's see what the call is.
Let's see if we agree with this one. We're going to see the replay the same time you do. He just lays it up over the middle of the field, and Ben Washington and Bird are going to go for it. And boy, I think they're all just reaching up for the ball right there. I didn't see much on that one. One more look from the other end zone. I don't know. Threw the ball up in the air. He was bumping him a little bit, and he kind of got it with the body, I guess, was the call down on the 1-yard line.
Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
NC State will call a timeout. You're right, Gary. That's extremely close to call. So we're tied at 14, and there's a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them.
But look at the pass interference call right here. Washington and Bird, watch, all four hands are going to go up for the ball. Might have nudged him. It was a little bit underthrown. That's a little unfortunate.
Play action, looks in the end zone, incomplete as they elected to go for Nicholson, the tight end.
Yeah, I like the call for a couple reasons there, right there. It stops the clock if you don't get it, and you still have 3 more downs with 47 seconds to go in the game, in the half. Here you see it all sell out. They know both those linebackers are going to hit it. The tight end just can't get open. Pretty good coverage, and the ball just a little high.
Jordan now 9 of 14, 111 yards, and he's had 3 misses in a row. Those are still some good numbers. Percentage-wise, both of these quarterbacks really tossing well. Jordan, oh, does he get banged at the line of scrimmage? Hello, Bobby Hamilton. Wow. Whew.
You bet that was
a head-high stick.
It was the same play they scored at the other end of the field. They faked the fullback to the right side. He turns around, and he finds a brick wall staring him in the face. Bobby Hamilton, 6'4", 240 pounds, the freshman. One more time. Watch him fake to the right. He turns around. That's a busted play. Someone shouldn't be picking that player up. Someone should block down. Someone has to block the defensive end. That's an easy tackle even for you and I on that play.
Boy, boy, boy. That's like the blitz, and the guy carrying the ball picks up the blitz. About the same difference.
Well, you know, when Southern missed that opening field goal, I thought it was a little unfortunate on that one. I was kind of, saying, okay, the game's still even. I'd like to see a field goal right here because I think the interference play was a little shaky. Let's not rooting for either team, but I hate to see the officials cause the game to go one way or another.
I agree with you. It is third down. 5 yards to pick up as a third down and goal for NC State. Tied at 14. Puts it up, looking for Davenport, incomplete. And I'm telling you, the folks from Southern Mississippi are going a little bit crazy. This is quite a defensive stand that they have just put on.
It's going to be one-on-one. Simi Carter, the senior, 2-year starter, and Davenport, the ex-quarterback. And he rips it through his hands right there. Could have been a cut. I would have liked to have seen Davenport go up and catch it at its highest point right here instead of trying to cradle it. And that gave Carter the opportunity to knock it and strip it right there.
Foul with a 22-yard attempt. Kick is on the way, and it's good. So Southern Mississippi, with somewhat of a moral victory there, they give up 3, but it was a first and goal at the 2. Wolfpack up by a field goal. Well, coming up at halftime, the halftime report with Tim Brando will have a feature on Brett Favre and also the plays of the year. All of that at halftime this evening. As you take a look at Smith, boy, 2 fumbles tonight for the Southern Mississippi return team, both by Smith, have led to a total of 10 points for NC State, as Damon Hartman will kick it off for the Wolfpack. And in order to keep it away from Smith, they kick it on the ground. And Gabe Peck still on his feet and all the way back out to the 44-yard line. That's 19 on the return, and Gary, with 20 seconds left, the way Favre controlled, I think I'd put my 2 safeties down around the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, well, they've still got time, though, Ron, to throw about an 18-yarder or a 20-yarder to get in position. They have 2 timeouts left. If you can get the ball around the 35-yard line on a nice crossing route, might be the way to do it first. He doesn't have to throw to the sideline. He can throw anywhere on the field.
Southern Mississippi does have 2 timeouts left. 11 of 12 for Favre, 201 yards, 9 completions in a row. Well, the coaches thought he might be a little tight tonight. going to run it, takes it out of bounds, and the clock is still running. In fact, for 2 ticks after he went out of bounds.
Yeah, they could add a second back, and at this juncture, they would use every second. Yeah, he does seem a little flustered, though. He did miss that one pass, Ron. Don't you think he's a little off tonight? I don't think you could fluster this guy anywhere.
But I mean, just the point that his coaches had made is that they thought, you know, he might be a little tight, but 11 of 12 on the evening.
And they haven't just all been short. He's been letting that ball rip all over the field.
Yeah. 52 and a 47-yarder is 2 of the first that he completed. That one has complete as Eddie Ray Jackson has it. Will go out of bounds, and that takes up about 5 seconds. Billy Ray Haynes made the tackle on Eddie Ray.
Well, I would still like to see him throw the ball down the field. That 5-8 yards right there didn't give him really too much, and now he's going to have to take a timeout because they've only got 1 play left to use right now.
Martin made the tackle.
So Southern Mississippi takes one of their 2 timeouts with 7 seconds left until halftime. So we've got a lot of fun football coming up. We mentioned at halftime, Tim Brando will be around. Plays of the year and also a feature on Brett Favre, who we have talked a lot about tonight, and you can see why. And defensively for this football team right here from North Carolina State, they come in with some very impressive numbers on the defensive side.
And they've played some good offensive football teams this year. You know, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Maryland can put some points. Virginia Tech, I think they're a real coming team for next year.
I agree with you.
So then, it's the basis of their defense, though, has been their secondary. Vinson, Campbell, Joe Johnson, 3 seniors. They built it around those guys. They stopped the run, and they let those they set the tempo with the secondary people, the big safeties. And they've got an All-American there, and he plays like an All-American, Jesse Campbell.
Well, they've given up 232 yards in the first half, which is inordinately high for that defense to give up. But I also would remind you that they lead as far as the stat that Dick Sheridan wants them to lead at the end of the ball game. They're up by 3 points. Now those safeties really drop off. Nelson is the 1 setback for Southern Miss. Over the middle, complete at the 40-yard line. A timeout is called, but I don't know if they got it in time. It's good for 13 yards. Merritt on the stop. And now the discussion goes on. They're going to give them more time or what? That is the end of the first half, and let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
We're with Coach Dick Sheridan, and Coach, you got to be pleased with the play of your offense in the first half. A great run for the offensive line.
Except for the wasted opportunity right at the end of the half, I thought we did a good job. Defensively, they have gotten a lot of yards against our defense with 3 long passes. That we've got to stop that. But we are moving the ball, but we've got to. When we get those opportunities like the end of the half, we've got to get some points out of it.
They're throwing underneath your coverage. Seems like they're throwing the short pass real well, but they are throwing the ball up the field. Any major adjustments you can make at halftime?
Well, if we play them underneath routes real tight, they're going to get bigger yards. We're going to have to break on the ball and react a little bit better, and then we're going to have to tighten up with different coverages, play them man some underneath.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jerry.
Dick Sheridan's team leads by 3 points at halftime. Let's go back upstairs to Ron Franklin.
Okay, Jerry, so 31 points in this opening half at the All-American Bowl. Right now, let's take a break.
Welcome you back to our bowl week and at halftime. It is 17-14. Quick basketball program note. Tomorrow it's Georgetown and Houston at noon Eastern time. Alonzo Mourning is expected to play in that game. And Penn State taking on Florida State in the Blockbuster Bowl. We should mention that Craig Fayak has missed or had a field goal try blocked from chip shot range. Well, in our game at the All-American Bowl, Brett Favre living up to the expectations. Back to Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Okay, Timmy, thank you. Yeah, when you only miss 1 pass and a half, if that's not living up to it, I don't know what you have to do. 17-14, it has been a wonderful offensive show in the first half. Southern Mississippi leads in the stats, but they don't lead on the scoreboard.
Well, they have had the turnovers, and that's been the key to the game. You know, we had fireworks at halftime, but nothing like the competition out there in the first half. Everything happened. Great job by Brett Favre. Started off really quick. They went the little flea flicker, opened it up, a little pitch to Tony Smith, back to Favre, and he rips it downfield about 6 65 yards to Michael Jackson, holds it off, and that started the action. Right from there, he went with a little fade pass against the blitz. He hit the freshman, Mark Montgomery, stretched out and made it 7-0 for Southern Miss. But Tony Smith, not leading rusher for Southern Miss, had two crucial turnovers. This one came on a kickoff. Greg Gianamore made the recovery, led to 10 points for the Wolfpack. One of them on the option play. Terry Jordan fakes to his right, turns to his left, and walks in untouched into the end zone. 17-14, Wolfpack at the half.
All right. And Jim Taylor, number 22. Teammates call him Stump. See, he's got that foot tied up, the conventional straight-ahead style kicker. And this one is underway in the second half. NC State leading by 3. Shaw, oh my goodness, and a flag comes in. Gary, that may be the hardest hit that we have had this year. I believe Savage is the man who delivered the blow. Welch, I beg your pardon. Welch is the man who delivered the blow. There was a flag down. Now let's take one more look at it here as the ball comes down. And I'm telling you, he just came straight course, right at him, took him on. And Gary, that may be as hard a hit as we've had all year.
Yeah, it's going to replace some of the best hits we've seen all year. His head went from 6 feet up to the back of the head to the ground. And that can fire up your football team. A hit on special teams gets everybody's attention.
Well, speaking of hits, the leading tacklers for Southern Mississippi, Simi Carter with 5, 8 for Arnie Williams, Billy Ray Haynes for NC State with 8, and 6 for Sebastian Savage in the first half. Gary Downs on first down will pick up maybe a couple of yards. Antonio is there to make the stop. Now let's take a look at the stats in that first half. NC State 9 of 15 for Jordan Freund. As we said, Favre only missed 1. 111 and 213. Rushing yardage, Southern Mississippi probably would like to see that total pick up a little bit. But points off turnover. NC State has been what a good football team does, and that is taking advantage of situations. Counter option pass out, and that is wonderful defensive work against Davenport, who made the reception by Ben Washington.
Well, it's time to salute some defensive people. I mean, it's been an offensive show, but Ben Washington has had a good game so far. He's been matched up a lot of times man-to-man. This time it's a little quick screen, a slim screen to the wide receiver out there, and Ben Washington feels it and comes up. Watch it. Fake up the middle. The linebackers, look at 5 guys from the inside running down the field. If Washington doesn't make the tackle, there's 6 other guys to make it at the line of scrimmage. What pursuit.
Liddell George, number 16, checks into the backfield, along with Aubrey Shaw. 1 of 5 on third down conversions for NC State. And they go draw play to Liddell George. He will pick up 5 of it, and that's it as he goes across the 15. Terry Valerie there defensively, and this defense for Southern Mississippi trying to get the fans fired up.
Well, offensive coordinator Ted Kane and Coach Sheridan, of course, didn't want to put his quarterback, Terry Jordan, in too big of a situation with poor field position. They ran the draw. They're going to punt it and see if their defense can take over.
They should get good field position. As you look at Tony Smith, the junior from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Last one he misplayed, remember?
That's right. And I think that this punt by Pogue is into the wind just a bit. This is off the side of his foot. But NC State with good coverage downfield, and they're going to wind up in decent position as they will have it just shy of the 50-yard line. 29 yards on the kick and no return. And let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Gentlemen, Southern Mississippi is a second-half ball club. In the 8 games they won this year, they trailed at the half in 4 of them. When they came back in the second half, they held 3 of those 4 teams they were trailing to no points in the second half. A great second-half team, the Golden Eagles.
I think there's a good reason for that, Ron. I mean, they play a lot of football players, and they go too deep at almost every position, but quarterback and, 50 guys in this team are going to play tonight.
Number 1 offensive line opens the second half. Play action by Favre. Pumps once, Now zings it sidearm, and that one goes incomplete. Only his second miss of the night. Michael Jackson is the guy that he wanted. This is what happened on the possessions in the first half. First 3 times he had the football, drives of 62, 66, and 69. They got points off 2 of those drives, then a punt, and then halftime.
Remember, the punt followed a big completion that was nullified because of holding, and in the last possession, they just didn't have time on the clock, so they've been able to move the ball all night.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's virtually unstoppable every time they've had the football.
Yeah, when you're 13 for 14, it's kind of tough to be stopped.
Dwayne Nelson is the single setback this time. Favre in the look-in has Michael Jackson again, and close to the first down at the 37.5-yard line. That's Joe Johnson. Is a very steady cornerback over on the left side. 4 seasons he has been a starter for NC State. He's there to make the play.
It's a zone defense. The corners are up in the flat. The 2 safeties are deep. It's going to be a little slant pass. Watch Michael Jackson. He knows he's going to get hit here. The ball is thrown in the right spot, low and in the stomach, and Jackson protects the ball for the big play. Now it's just 3rd and inches.
Michael Jackson now 3 catches for 106 yards on the night. Tony Smith, little stutter step, takes it up the middle. He'll have the first down, plus 2, now 3 more. In the vicinity of the 32-yard line, Ricky Logo, sophomore from Fort Benning, Georgia, is the man who was holding on to his ankles.
We have to give the Wolfpack defense credit for stopping Tony Smith, but this guy, if he ever gets loose and involved in this football game, he is some athlete to look at. 6'3", 210. He led the country in kickoff returns, as he mentioned earlier. He's the #1 rusher on their team. He catches the ball, the #2 scorer. He is some talent.
Well, Smith goes out. Dwayne Nelson comes in replacing him in this play. Both of these teams use lots and lots of players. Play action by Favre. Gets out of the pressure, now goes long, and he's got Jackson down there. The ball is tipped in, incomplete, almost intercepted by Joe Johnson. Joe led the ACC with 18 breakups this year.
Well, this is one where he had him deep. He had Jackson deep. He scrambled to the right. He's looking left right here. He thinks it's a blitz. He doesn't see the blitz, so now he's going to get out of the pocket. And this is when he gets creative. You know, he's going to make some mistakes when he does this, but he's such a weapon coming out of the pocket. This one could have been intercepted, but Joe Johnson didn't come down with it. Michael Jackson breaks it up, and they get to tee it up again on 2nd down.
So the situation is a 2nd down and 10 with the line of scrimmage at the 33. You just joined us, NC State, 17-14 over Southern Mississippi. That's a quick out as they get it to Eddie Ray Jackson. And he will be pushed out of bounds just shy of the 28-yard line. And again, Joe Johnson. Well, Joe was kind of quiet in the first half, and now all of a sudden we called his name about 3-4 times in a row. Very steady performer.
Eddie Ray Jackson is also going to come in, number 32, and play the possession receiver back. He's 4th place all-time receiver for the Southern Miss Eagles, and he's coming out. He's the sure-handed guy, and in that situation, he's going to look for Favre and on the short pass and get into the 3rd and 5 range where they have to pick up the first down.
3rd down. The line to make is the 23-yard line. Whistles, and a flag is down.
Looked to me like Brett forgot the snap count again that time and kind of rocked back.
Well, there definitely was movement, and it's going to be a 3rd down and a 10-plus situation, which becomes extremely difficult. The percentages drop way down when you go to 3rd down and 10-plus.
Well, and this team for the year only has a 29% conversion on 3rd down anyway, and this is the type of situation they must avoid. For the season, they haven't had a lot of them. They've been running the ball more than this game, and this is the type of situation they've avoided all year.
Favre up into the pocket as NC State getting lots of pressure on him. The ball is loose, and Southern Mississippi has recovered back at the 44. That's Riles who got on the football, the 6'8", 270-pound tackle out of Purvis, Mississippi.
This time he's waiting a little longer to try to throw the ball downfield. Brett Favre, watch him stops, looks. He ducks one guy. He's strong enough to do that, but from behind, there's the ball, and his roommate, Chris Riles, comes and saves him with the fumble recovery.
Scott Brandt with the punt. That's the best job of pressure that NC State has done on Favre tonight, and obviously that's a key. No matter how good you are, you can't throw it from the position lying flat. ESPN's Bowl Week. The 1990 All-American Bowl is brought to you by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison. And by Michelob Dry Beer. Once you experience the bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back. Now, there's no prettier sight than youngsters, boy, understanding the time of year and waiting for St. Nick to come. We've had a great time here in Birmingham. They do a wonderful job of hospitality. Maynard and Downs are the setback. If Jordan goes play action, good protection, puts it up on top, and even if that ball had been caught, he had been running out of bounds for about 15 yards, Mr. Davenport.
Well, I think NC State is doing the right thing. They need to loosen up a little bit, go with some misdirection, get a Terry out of the pocket, and throw some to the tight ends like they did before. The backup secondary, the whole secondary is new in there for Southern Mississippi Eagles. They've got 4 changes. That right there was Pat Wynn on the coverage, so they went deep on him, Davenport, and he did the job. 4 new secondary people in the game.
10 of 17 is Terry Jordan on the evening. His team leading 17-14 over the Eagles of Southern Mississippi. That running play will take it out over the 20-yard line to around the 22 is Tyrone Jackson. First time we've seen him this evening. If you look at the NC State possessions in that first half, punt the first time they had it, but then touchdown. One of those came off a turnover on back-to-back possessions. Then they missed a field goal. And just before halftime, picked up a field goal on a drive of 74 yards, and they lead it by 3. Jordan, big pressure this time, and he is sacked, and I mean sacked hard at the 12-yard line by James Singleton, who is our student athlete of the game. That was a 4-point hit as well.
4-point student, and he knows how to rush the passer. What more can you ask for? This time they went a double eagle to both sides, meaning both south side linebackers are going to be coming full speed. 5-man rush, man-to-man coverage in the secondary, and they just overpowered the rush. There you see him coming from the outside. The tackle just can't get out there fast enough. Mike Gee, number 75, and it's an easy sack.
Singleton showed some real good quickness on that play right there.
He better be quick playing linebacker at 205.
And that kick is blocked. Rolling out of bounds at the 1-yard line, and Pat Wynn got it.
But Pat Wynn was just playing corner a minute ago. Real good bounce there for Southern Miss. Had that bounce another yard and a half to the left, that would have been a touchback and just a safety right there. Now they get it at the 2-yard line. There you see number 23 comes to the outside. They don't get a hand on him, and then he just cuts in, and they put it. Now, this could have just as easily bounced and kicked out of the end zone, but it goes out on the 2-yard line, and they got the ball first and goal. Well, it is actually the 1-yard line. One more time from the opposite side again, a little closer. Watch it. It bounces straight. It would have been a touchback safety. This time it's going to be first and goal from the 1.
The 1, Smith. Touchdown, Southern Mississippi.
This was all just push right here, power eye. Everybody just leads to the right, and that's just about 1.5 yards is what they get, but that's all they needed for 6 points.
You know, either through field goal or punt, if memory serves me correctly, that is 10 kicks that NC State has had blocked this year.
Well, that's how you turn a fairly decent football team into a 6-5 team, having those types of stats.
Extra point attempt is up, and it's good. So with 8 minutes and 47 seconds left in this third period, Southern Mississippi has gone back. Well, let's say gone back. They had gone on top for the first time in this one.
This is the third turnover on special teams. Only the first one that Southern Miss has been the beneficiary of. But when you get the ball on a blocked punt at that end of the end zone, you're going to score relatively easy. There you go. They pushed it into the end zone. Didn't get much, but they didn't need much.
Second time, actually, that the Golden Eagles had led. They went on top 7-0. Then fell behind and now lead it 21-17. Well, don't forget, coming up, as you take a look at our score with 8:47 left in the third period, NFL in a special time for NFL Game Day, 11:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. And then at the regular time on Sunday, Chris Berman and the guys, noon Eastern Time, and they'll come back and tell you what has happened during the day, 7 o'clock, and then Sunday night. And Gary Danielson, you'll be down at the Astrodome for the all-important meeting between the Steelers and the Oilers.
I haven't been in many big games like that. That's going to be a big football game. The Steelers and the Oilers, and the used to be the House of Pain, but we'll see if it can be again.
Cody Carlson really's got the burden put on his shoulders.
I think he's going to come through, though. You know, you wait for a whole career to play those types of games, and it's on his shoulders. I think he's going to have a good game.
So the return comes back out to the 25-yard line. And NC State would like to they'd like to get some better field position for starters.
Well, they're going to have to earn it. They're still trying to run the ball up the middle. I'd like to see that misdirection plays. They talked about it. They told us they were going to try to get Terry Jordan outside of the pocket and hit the tight end coming across. They need to do it now.
Makes it to Maynard. Wants to go with the pitch and then took it so far to the sideline. Arnie Williams didn't have much work to do as the quarterback helped him play defense on that one.
They ran the option into the short side of the field right that time, and Arnie Williams in the pursuit from the secondary. I mean, they're corners. They fight off those blocks from the wide receivers and give the quarterback nowhere to turn up, and the inside linebackers, they just run and make the tackles.
One of the things that Dick Sheridan and his staff said that Southern Mississippi reminded them of the Clemson linebackers as far as quickness.
The way they run. They line up very deep. They try to keep them free.
Pass thrown complete at the 40-yard line, and Turner breaks the initial tackle and finally is stopped at the 45 by Simi Carter. Good for 16.
Well, that play has been there all night. Those linebackers, inside linebackers, step up so much on the play fake that the curls behind them is open all day. Turner just comes out. You'll see it, a little fake pitch. The linebackers step up, and by the time they get back out into the coverage in the zone, the big hole there to throw just pitch and catch 12-yard plays. I'd like to see him do a little bit more of that.
Tell you, make no mistake, we've talked a lot about Favre tonight. I like the way Jordan throws as well. Ball is fumbled, and NC State will hold on to possession because they were the last to hold on to it before it went out of bounds.
Running that short side option again. They're trying to catch the rotation going to the wide side of the field. There's one must guy there, and they're trying to run the option to the sideline, but that pursuit from the inside is just amazing to watch. Those inside linebackers, Arnie Williams and Rod Lynch, they just run. The two leading tacklers on the football team.
We're at the midway point of this third period with Southern Mississippi leading by 4, 21-17. Play action, pulls up and throws, and Davenport had fallen down. For a minute, I was looking, saying, who in the world blew the play? And then Davenport got up off the ground.
Well, Simi Carter did a great job. He jammed him and pushed him out of the way and out of bounds, and then he slipped. But the reason they called that play, Ron, is just what I saw, what the coaches up here saw. Those corners playing off those receivers and getting into the backfield, so they tried a quick play-action pass and hit the receiver behind the cornerback very quickly.
Is going to be holding against the Wolfpack, and the penalty is declined. Aubrey Shaw and Liddell George come into the lineup as the Wolfpack looks at a third down situation. The line to make is the 45.
That's a little different. Coach Bauer right there declined a 10-yard penalty. That's a little surprising. Usually you take those because you have to get 20 yards and 2 downs. Now they got 9 yards, for a first down.
NC State has not converted on a third down situation since the first quarter. At the 50-yard line, he'll be shy by about 5 yards. As Simi Carter, you can hear the hitting going on down there on the field right next to the bench.
You better believe it. That was an audible against an inside blitz that they had been working on. It was one of the plays that Terry Jordan had labeled and ready to run, and when he saw it, that's what he dialed. Didn't pick up the yardage they thought they were going to get, though.
You know, interesting situation just now. Kenny Valerie, number 16, has been sent back. Smith started to sprint out on the field, and the coaching staff called him back. So Terry Valerie has this kick off the side of his foot, and that one is not going to be very far at all. That one will be spotted out of bounds way up at the 34-yard line.
A quick update on the Blockbuster Bowl. Florida State, they seemingly always play well late, don't they? Particularly in bowls. 17-7, they lead Penn State. Casey Weldon having a heck of a game. No surprise, I'm sure, to both Ron and Gary.
When we saw them earlier, Casey had got, well, in fact, that's right, he got the start against Auburn.
He made his debut. He came in halfway through that first quarter almost like they wanted to go.
He didn't start, but he played a heck of a ball game. Farthing first down. Gets this one out of the backfield. Incomplete. Dwayne Dawson either lost it in the lights or something. But Dwayne, with the defensive people that were coming up, it may have been your best miss of the year.
Well, he's got a rocket arm, but nice touch here, Dwayne. Somebody said decline this one right here. Watch, nice touch over the rush right here, but he sees that or he hears it or somebody's going. It's that brown thing with the stripes on, Dwayne, right there that went past you that you're supposed to grab.
You know, he wears goggles, and I wondered.
Yeah,
Jerry, if he looked up, he might have gotten a little glare.
Because he didn't even touch it. The thing went right by.
Favre this quarter, only 2 of 5 for 14 yards. NC State middle backers showing blitz, but they stay at home. Pass incomplete. And one of the reasons, it's not because Brett is not throwing the ball as well. It is because NC State has done a far better job of putting pressure on him in this third quarter.
Well, I don't know if it's the goggles this time or not, but if you can't see the tight end, you can see a couple guys laughing about it. Favre wanted to go to the tight end, number 84, Eric Williams here, but he runs into Nelson, and now there's nobody to throw to. I don't think the goggles is going to go on that one again.
You don't think so? He lost the tight end and he's got it. Third down, the line to make is the 44.
We're having fun, but this is a big series for NC State. They can't allow them to march down here and put some more points on the board.
Gets away from the pressure, and he's not going to get away the second time. His 96, John Akins, is there to make the sack on Favre. And Southern Mississippi will have to punt again. Mark Thomas was the first man with the pressure.
Mark Thomas is their best pass rushing lineman. He did outside linebacker this year. Look at arm under rip. He gets in there. There it is. That's in the grasp in the NFL, but this guy's a linebacker, 230, but you can't get away from 4 of them. John Akins, the freshman, cleans it up for the sack.
NC State has been going with the return all night. Let's see if they come after him this time. Good hanging spiral, and now takes an NC State bounce. Back away from the 30-yard line, and they'll get it in decent field position. And Jerry Punch has got an update for us.
Gentlemen, I spoke with team orthopedic surgeon Dr. Doug Rouse, who told me that Simi Carter had a sprain, a twisting of his right knee. Now, he will go back in and be able to play. But the news, not so good for Stacey Dennis, backup quarterback, and more importantly, he holds for extra points and field goals. He has a brachial plexus or nerve injury in his shoulder. He will not play in the second half.
Jerry, we had suggested that's probably what it was with him.
Yeah, we were zeroing in on that ourselves. Stacey Dennis came in for that one play and fumbled the snap. He might have not played much anyway after that play.
Greg Maynor on the carry as the clock is about to go down to 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter with Southern Mississippi. If you look at Simi Carter being attended to on the sideline across the way.
He got hurt against Auburn, too, and didn't play in their final game of the year, so he's been a little bit banged up. He's had a great game so far.
He was a quarterback in high school. Pitch. Downs has the first down and takes it out to the 45-yard line. Rod Lynch is there defensively.
Terry Jordan's got a big arm and throws the ball very effectively, but he's such a threat in this offense because he can run the option. Same play they've been running all night. Fullback to the right, come back to the left. Got a big hole to run in, pursuit from the big inside, but that's a very positive play.
I like this freshman, Mr. Downs. I think the folks up in the Carolinas are going to hear a lot about him for time to come. Running the other way on the pitch. Ooh, takes a pretty good shot at the end, but he winds up with a gain of about 8.5. They might just turn this into the Gary Downs show here for a little bit and see, see if it works.
Well, they are not going to be able to run the ball right at this football team. They've established the fullback a little bit, but now the option game is opening up, and this guy is. I mean, he is a freshman, but he's taking it up in there. He's worked his way up the line. He's earned the playing time, according to Coach Sheridan, and he's averaging 4.2 yards to carry the number 2 rusher on the team this year.
Aubrey Shaw comes in replacing him for a moment. Pass goes to Davenport, and he will take it inside the 35 as NC State really mixing the plays well and moving it down the field.
Well, that's what we talked about. That's what they need to do. They're not going to just play toe-to-toe with this football team. They're just too physical. Keep them off balance, little misdirection. Number one theory for the Southern Miss defense is stop that run. You have to keep them off balance.
NC State trying a little hurry-up action. Jordan holds on the option play this time, and let's see, he is just shy of the first down, but he has about 9.5 yards on that play.
Terry Jordan is just a sophomore, a red shirt sophomore, and he weighs 195 pounds. You know what, Ronnie's a big 195. Big chest, big arms, tough-looking kid, big-sized neck and everything. And, we asked Coach Ted Kane, the offensive coordinator, give us a couple of words about him. He says, the best thing I can say is intense. Kind of maybe like his uncle, Leroy Jordan, maybe got a little bit of that.
Got some of that linebacker blood in him. Second down and short. Down to play with here. But they're going to try to pick it up right now. Downs gets the carry straight up the middle. And they will move the chains again. So the clock with 3:19 remaining, third period, shows Southern Mississippi leading 21-17, but NC State coming back. Lots of great football coming up on ESPN this weekend. Of course, we will have the Holiday Bowl, Texas A&M and BYU Saturday evening. I think that's going to be an awfully good football game.
Mr. Dittmer lines it up. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Tell you what, the Aggies got a couple of running backs that are awfully good. Running play right up the middle. And this one will go inside the 20-yard line. And let's go down to Jerry Punch again.
Gentlemen, a lot of concern about freshman tailback Gary Downs. Last week he had the flu, and the coaches told us he lost almost 12 pounds before they left Raleigh to come here to Birmingham. So they tried to take care of him. They've been feeding him all week long. They weren't sure how resilient he would be in the second half, but he's certainly doing a great job here in the third quarter.
Downs 7 carries, 46 yards. Jordan on the key. Gets by 1, 2, 3 tackles, and finally is pushed out of bounds at the 11-yard line. And that is another Wolfpack first down.
Very nice little wrinkle they've been using on this drive. They've been going unbalanced line and using a quick snap before Southern Miss can really adjust to it. They're still snapping their chin straps and looking around and making a call, and all of a sudden they've got the option coming out. This is a keep all the way, but he runs through 2 tackles right here to pick up the first down. First he goes through Cary Valley, and then number 690, James Singleton, comes back, and he runs through both of them for the first down.
Total yards in this ball game tonight. Short to you in just a second. As Jordan tries to keep this time and nothing doing. Tim Roberts stepped up and said, this is the end of the first down pickups on first down, sir. Here are those total yards. That was promising. 4 yards, second half, Southern Mississippi.
That's evened up the game right there. They're both 240 and 249. So, I like the scoreboard. Without the turnover, right there, NC State would be in better control of this game. They need to put a touchdown on the board. Get them out of the pocket here a little bit.
Second down from the 11-yard line. NC State can pick up the first down without scoring. Hand off, and there is nothing there. And Greg Maynor ran into James Singleton first. Singleton has had some real key plays, particularly in the last few minutes in this ball.
The Southern Miss defense is known as a read defense. Try to keep the offensive line off the linebackers. But on this drive, the last couple plays at least, they've been pinching and coming and trying to blow it up in the backfield on those last 2 plays. First it was Tim Roberts hitting him right off the bat, and now James Singleton on the same type of slant look.
Aubrey Shaw is the only setback behind him. Jordan this time with a short drop, looking pass, touchdown Juergens.
Emotion, and you want to be aggressive, but you've got to keep your concentration. Ben Washington this time loses his inside technique on the slant. You can't get beat inside when you have no free safety. You've got to make them throw the ball to the outside, and that's an easy pitch and catch to Bobby Juergens.
Extra point attempt is good by Fowle. Nick Sheridan, this is how he reacted as Juergens caught his 4th touchdown pass of the year. NC State back on top. .45 points scored in this ball game. We still have 1:02 left in the 3rd quarter. Southern Mississippi and NC State as you look at Tony Smith. Tony in 1989 led the nation in kickoff returns. He's joined by Pat Wynn, and the Southern Mississippi deep backs have now, instead of lining up around the goal line, have now started to cheat considerably because NC State all night has been kicking at an angle and very high.
Work too. I mean, that sky
really
kick has really been effective. They don't get it on the 20 very often, but you don't get the big return either.
You know, I think Southern Mississippi's kind of tried to force the issue, though. I know it's been a good thing for them, but as you suggested, take the kick, even if you have to fair catch it, and go on with your offense. But
be happy with it on the 30.
Turnovers have cost them 10 points.
Give you an example again. Number 3, top of your screen in the middle. That's Ben Washington. He's got his back to the quarterback. The reason is he has no help inside. This is a full blitz. It's going to be a slant by Bobby Juergens. He loses his technique, and you cannot get beat inside on a slant play. There's no help right there, and that's just too easy of a throw. 6 points on the board.
And when you do well, this is what your coach does.
You're everybody's friend. He is having a great game. I mean, he's matched up against a very talented quarterback, and he's holding his own.
Right now has his football team on top, 24-21. Well, the kick out of bounds, and Fowle will do it again, this time from the 30.
They had a penalty on the first one on the extra point, and they kicked from the 40, and now they backed them up to the real 35. So it was a penalty on the extra point.
Right, that's penalty on the extra point.
And we see the sky kick.
Taken at the 30-yard line, fumbled again, and gathered in was Peck. Boy, the new head coach, Mr. Bauer, is going to have a few more gray hairs off the special team tonight.
Well, he's got a lot of aggressive football players on his football team, and you don't want to kill that. There's a lot of people that feel they can make a touch on every play, but you got to teach them a little discretion there because those are free at catch, fair catch type deals.
Well, that shows the turnaround in the football game. And if you wonder, you say, well, how did Southern Mississippi score? They blocked a punt and took the ball inside the 2-yard line and scored in the very first play. Roland Johnson comes in at fullback. We haven't seen much of him tonight. Takes the pitch. Has 5 and now 6 and 7. And let's check in again with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Unfortunately, more injuries to update here on the NC State sideline. Starting punter Preston Cole, the senior and former quarterback at NC State, will not play the rest of the night. He has a sprain, or possibly even a capsular fracture, or capsular tear, I should say, of the right ankle. That should heal with time, but he doesn't have time tonight to get back in the game. We also mentioned Mike G, starting offensive right tackle, limped off the game just before that score. He had a burner, a pinched nerve in his neck. He should return here in the second half.
I'll tell you, we got a doctor, you know, I mean, that's high-priced talent down there. Tells you exactly what's going on.
Fire with a handoff straight ahead to Roland Johnson. And Roland is close to the first down at the 40-yard line. And that is the end of the third quarter. NC State leading by 3 as we head to the final 15. Third down and short for Southern Mississippi. Need less than a yard as Johnson gets the handoff, and oh, what a stick by Mike Jones. A flag is down. Oh, my goodness. One of the reasons we've been having so many injury reports from Dr. Jerry Punch is because of hits like that.
It's been big-time hitting down there. You know, you have to wonder about that slow-hitting play from a deep single back. I mean, Brett Favre can just quarterback sneak it at 230 pounds. That's a long time to hold the block. And Mike Jones defeats it into the backfield, and they're not going to pick up the first down right now. It's going to be 4th and at least a yard and a half now. Look at arm over, gets him into the backfield, and that's at least a good yard short of the first down.
Tyler Lawrence, number 58, came up to help him out. And again, Southern Mississippi is going to have to punt. And we have just been told that in the third quarter, Southern Mississippi had only 13 yards total offense.
And I think the other thing we should point out, that was the turn for the second offensive line to be out there on that key 4th down situation, and that's who was defeated. The second line that time. It's a system. They live with it, and they're going to go with it.
Brand with his punt. From the 25-yard line with a return of about 7 by Liddell George. 14:30 left in this one, and here's the storyline so far. Southern Mississippi 13 yards, as we told you, this half. NC State 10 points off turnovers. NC State 26-yard punting average after that last kick, which was only 16. And the Southern Mississippi block punt led to a touchdown. So both have been opportunistic tonight. 10 points by NC State and 7 points now by Southern Mississippi. Jordan over the middle has Harrison as tight end to the 40-yard line.
Talked about Todd Harrison, the junior, 6'3", 250. He broke his hand against South Carolina. He's wearing a cast on his right hand. He had a little peek at it on his hip right there. He's going to come in between the two linebackers, turn around, pitch and catch it with his hands too. Nice job. Must be a good job building a cast that you can catch with Todd Harrison.
Jordan on 2nd and 2 gives it straight away to Maynor, and the 6', 244-pounder takes it for the first down out across the 45. Tim Miller on the bottom of the pile.
Well, this is a good rushing team North Carolina State has here in 1990. They gained 1,812 yards. It's the most rushing that they've had since 1984. I mean, they've done a good job running the ball this year, but they've been forced to do something else in this game. They haven't been able to physically push them, so they've had to open it up and throw on first down and move the ball on first down with the pass.
To Aubrey Shaw, and that is a good defensive play by Lynch, and then Brian Wood came up to finish him off.
Well, they had leverage both inside and outside, with Lynch coming from the inside as the scrape linebacker and Brian Wood, the strong safety, from the outside. And there was nowhere to go on that option. Well executed, but two big black shirts standing right in front of you. Unbalanced line to the right again.
Jordan has it complete to Maynor, and whoa, he takes a couple of folks with him, and he's big enough to do that at almost 250 pounds, but Peck is the man who hit him.
Well, again, the secondary for Southern Mississippi busted. It was a mistake by Simi Carter, number 12. He had deep help deep by the secondary, the safety, and he followed his receiver down the field, and that's why the back and the flat was so wide open. A short pass like that should not get you that type of yardage.
Downs and Maynard, the setbacks. It is third down. 2 of 9 is North Carolina State in third down conversions tonight. They need about a yard and a half. Counter with the option, and Jordan will have it. Still on his feet, and probably should have gone down before those last 5 hit him. Boy, he's a bad one. I'm telling you.
We might have the 2 best linebackers playing quarterback in one game I've seen in a long time. One guy's tough, the next guy's tougher. Here it is. The option again, fakes this time to the left, goes right. The end goes outside. He goes back inside. Look, stay up. I'm not going to slide like one of those quarterbacks that play in the NFL.
Rushing yardage so far, NC State over 100-yard advantage there. This time wants to throw. Looks and almost intercepted by Ben Washington. Played possum, played off of it, came up, and probably should have had the intercept. And did Jordan...
I think Terry Jordan got hurt on the play before, to tell you the truth. On the option, he came back, and to throw a pass right after the option play kind of almost came back to haunt him here. He let it go a little bit late, had a big wobble on it. The receiver could not come back to the ball because he was having to adjust to the left, and Ben Washington could have had the big pickoff right there. I think he's hurting a little bit right there.
Also could have had some awfully big yardage. That was the wide side of the field. Pressure coming from the middle. Jordan's going to run. At the 35, boy, he won't make it to the 35.
Wow.
That was Brian Wood who caught him in mid-leap.
Brian Wood from the secondary is one of the surest tackles you've ever seen. Terry Jordan was running full speed to go inside or outside, and he put his helmet on him and just clamped down on him. Again, he went to a blitz audible, and he was wrong. It was a zone. He shakes off one guy, yells, go, 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 I'm running, but he can't even get out of bounds here. Look at that tackle, and he clamps on that leg. Doesn't just hit him, he grabs him.
3rd down. They need the 29 of Southern Mississippi. They set the screen, intercepted by John Brown. Number 66, the big right defensive tackle, stepped in front and made the pickoff. Oh, my goodness.
Zone coverage, he read it. You see him on the right side of your screen. He comes, he feels the early chop block. That's what gives it away, and he backs up right into it to get the big interception. As a tackle, you got to drive that man further up the field before you chop, because that's a clue. It's a screen right away. And John Brown came into this game listed number 2 or 3 on the depth chart, playing a lot of guys. He came out and made the big play as a backup. They got a good system down here. They play a lot of people, and a lot of people are excited about playing.
That one will be talked about by the defense for some time to come. Win, lose, or draw. Second turnover of the second half by NC State. Pass over the middle. Good. Heaven. And I feel like a rock and roll announcer on radio. And the hits just keep on coming.
Billy Ray Haynes that time, number 50, second leading tackle on the team, put his whole 222 pounds right on him. Again, the Eagles are just content to be throwing short, giving him, this was the delay pass all the way. He was going to just one man, and boy, he caught it, he held on to it though, but they're not really stretching the defense and throwing the ball downfield. They're just being happy with the short passes right now.
Yeah, Anthony Harris did a great job of holding on. Like he had the winning catches, Florida State and also Auburn, the Florida State game last year. Zings it. Has Montgomery, who already has a couple of touchdown passes tonight.
Wow. I'll tell you, it's hard to sit up here and watch a talent like this and not have your tongue kind of hanging out of your mouth. This time he gave it a Dan Marino type flick of the wrist, and it was in and out of his hand. Watch this little play action pass. Now watch, when he gets it loaded, it's gone, and it's on a string. Boom. That's the hardest pass he threw all night, and it was in there in a split second. You said fling it. You're going to have to come up with something better, Ron. You work on it. It was more of a fling. It was a rifle shot in there. I read, Joe Namath, who's one of my heroes growing up, said there's not many guys that know how to throw the ball in college football. I read about it. I don't know if he was quoted accurately, but maybe he hasn't seen Brett Favre throw the ball, because I tell you, he looks like the real thing to me.
And that's probably the case. He hasn't seen it. He really is a talent. Roland Johnson is the single setback. Gets the pitch, and they try to do that misdirection again, and I'm telling you, That thing really hasn't come close to working, has it?
Put that one to bed. Let's get the ball in the quarterback's hands and let's run straight at him. That thing just takes a little bit too long. NC State's defense just runs too well. It's too deep of a play and takes a little too long to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Clayton Henry is the one who messed it up that time. Well, the first 3 drives, 193 yards tonight, and the last 7 drives, a total of 16 yards. You think NC State has diagnosed something?
Well, I think what they're dialing so far here, they really haven't tried to stretch the ball deep anymore and hit those kind of cruel passes and crossing routes behind the linebackers.
Barb, near sideline to Pope, and he is tackled out of bounds. That was Denson who came over to make the tackle. Snake might have been fortunate he didn't get a flag there. Fernandez Vinson, he's a senior from Montgomery, but Snake is what they call him, and that nickname comes from childhood football, when his football coach grabbed him by the shoulder pads one day and said, "You're a running back, run straight up in there, quit running like a snake," and the nickname held on.
Had a great conversation with him last night. He said he's going to set the tempo tonight. Competition between him and Jesse Campbell to see who can get the big hit of the game.
3rd down. Southern Miss needs the 32. Deep over the middle, knocked away at the last moment, and I believe Savage is the man who got it. It was, as Michael Jackson was breaking clear.
Well, I know Sebastian Savage knew the ball was on the way right that time. Michael Jackson was open by a couple steps. He read the coverage properly. The free safety stepped up, and he had the post behind him. There you see him. He reloads. He just does not throw this ball a couple yards farther, and it would have been a big play. It was just underthrown.
You started to say, and you know, Savage actually was reaching for him, not going for the block. Not a good kick.
Well, I tell you, we've seen an atrocious kicking game tonight. There's been no doubt about that.
9:13 left in the ball game. NC State by 3. ESPN's Bowl Week, the 1990 All-American Bowl, is brought to you by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison. And by McDonald's. You know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. Now, some anxious looks on the near side of the field as far as North Carolina State is concerned, because their football team in the second half has really turned it around defensively, slowing down Southern Mississippi. Drop play to George, and this one goes for big yardage out to the 35-yard line.
Well, last time on first down, they passed. This time they hit him with the draw. Watch number 70, left side of your screen, Claude Hawley. He had a great block on the linebacker, Arnie Williams, to spring him. And that's a good call on first down. Last time was the pass, still keeping him off balance. That's the name of the game, calling plays.
Well, Bill George is averaging 7 yards a carry at 28 and 4. Now it's Gary Downs as a shift as far as backs, and also a little change in pace. Arnie Williams and Hamilton combining in the stop for Southern Mississippi.
Arnie Williams is a junior. He's the leading tackler on the team. And as a true freshman, he started in the secondary as strong safety. So he's just an all-around good football player. Goes from strong safety to inside linebacker. Number 25, Arnie Williams.
Jordan with the 5-step drop, but it's not enough, as he is going to be caught and knocked down by Pat Wynn. Coming from his corner position, Southern Mississippi trying to pull out some of the stops now. The clock becomes extremely important.
Well, the short side corner blitz, they've been running it a lot, and they've been catching it in running plays. This is the first time they've caught a pass play, and Pat Wynn, who's in the game subbing for Sidney Carter, comes off the short corner, the short side of the field. It's a play you see in college football a lot because of the wide hashes, and puts in one more guy than they can pick up.
Sacks so far 5 times. Southern Mississippi minus 27 yards. NC State 3 of 10 in third down conversions, and they need the 45. Jordan, look out to the backside, fumbles the ball, and the Wolfpack is recovered at the 37. Pocrant got on the ball, the right guard, and it was Gerald Blake who had made the hit. That's dodging a big bullet right there.
This is really how it happens so often. You remember Brett Favre fumbled earlier from behind. This is what happens. You think you're clear, and from behind you get hit. And those are the kind you fumble. And great job by Rich Boquette here to grab that ball, because that was a big return over if they get the ball on the 37-yard line in this situation.
Tim Kilpatrick has come on to punt. Tony Smith is the deep man, and they have pressure up the middle, and a flag goes down. They have just roughed the kicker. Tony Smith going to be tackled after a 1-yard return, and with 6 minutes and 46 seconds left in the ball game, might have better put an asterisk by this one, because it could turn out to be extremely large. Your defense has just stopped them. You're down by 3.
Well, it's still going to be 4th down. It's a situation where, unless it's a roughing the kicker type penalty, because everybody is confused right now on the field. They don't know if it's 4th down or automatic 1st down. Everybody's turning around and looking. Looked like he almost was blocked into the kicker. I was even wondering about the call to begin with.
Running into the kicker, defense, penalty is refused. 1st down.
So that answered the question, running into the kicker.
It wasn't roughing the kicker. It was running into the kicker. From the bottom of your screen, you'll see him. He gets pushed. Actually, he gets shoved from behind into the kicker. It was not roughing. He was trying to get out of the way. It was a good punt, and they went with it.
Well, there's the story, 24-21. The Wolfpack leading with just under 7 minutes to play in the ball game. And let's see if Brett Favre can come up with his billing into this ball game. Can he lead the Golden Eagles back? Zings it, intercepted over the middle by David Merritt. Merritt down to the 25-yard line, and here comes a flag. Flag came down after the ball was intercepted, so you would think that possession, okay, there's answers the question. It's a clip.
It was post-possession type of a clip after he got the ball. Play action pass, rolled out a little bit, and tried to throw the ball across the grain. Type of individual as a quarterback who believes he can throw and make plays all the time. Still very coachable kid, but he tried to get a little bit greedy that time. The linebacker suckered him a little bit, went with one guy, read his eyes, and came back in. It was in good position for the interception by David Merritt, sophomore. Big turnover, 6:33 left. NC State, I know, would love to put about 3 or 4 minutes together here and at least put, a touchdown would put the game almost out of reach, but a field goal would be very good for them also. Well, field goal really doesn't help them too much, does it, Ron?
No. In fact, that was the point I was going to make. So the most important, one of the two most important things, they either need a touch or they need a drive of about five and a half minutes.
They need time off the clock or a touchdown. Really, a field goal is no big deal. They shouldn't even play for a field goal. They should think end zone.
Ball at the 41-yard line. Straight ahead with the fullback, big opening, Maynard. And at the 10, at the 5, he'll score. When you look at the replay in just a second, I want you to keep in mind that the youngster is 6 feet, 244 pounds, but he did not run like a man who is that large. Wow.
I'll tell you, they didn't listen to us, though. They didn't take any time off the clock, though.
Foul to attempt the extra point. And let's take another look at it, and you judge his speed.
Very seldom do you turn down touchdowns. This one, fullback up the middle. They've thrown, they've run the draw. This time the linebackers overrun it. He gets into the secondary. Valerie misses the tackle, and he's gone. Look at that. You're not going to bring him down with one arm.
And he's got cutting ability for a 244-pounder. Normally, those kind of guys are just straight ahead.
I had the left. Sidney Carter came across, and he just trotted into the end zone.
That's where Gary and I are going to be on New Year's Day, Jacksonville, Florida, for that meeting between Michigan and Ole Miss. Hope you'll join us. Should be a good one. Well, our situation, 6:21 showing on the clock, and all of a sudden, NC State with a 10-point lead. After this kickoff, we're going to show you that run one more time by Maynard. Tony Smith from the 9. Marker comes down as Smith tries to break it out, and NC State with really good coverage. Now, let me show you. We're going to run this regular speed. Maynard at 244 pounds. Watch the shake and bake.
From the line of scrimmage, I'll tell you, this guy is moving. Simi Carter gets him here at the end. Watch, he just got up, didn't even feel it. It was in the end zone. He was getting ready to do his dance.
Never even slowed him down. You're right.
Well, on top of all the problems Southern Miss has had in the second half, they've had a penalty on the kickoff, too, which is going to march them back. I think Brett Favre and Jeff Bauer ought to look at going no huddle right now. There's 6:12 to go. They need 2 scores to win this football game. They don't have time to huddle up.
Here's a good look at Jeff Bauer. He faces the sideline. His football team down by 10. They have not lost in the state of Alabama in 1990. They beat both Auburn and the University of Alabama on the road. But right now, they are in danger of dropping their first game in this state this year. Barb over the middle, gets it to Tony Smith, breaks off a tackle and finally comes out of bounds. And now, this is something we talked about at halftime, but Smith had not really been a factor because they had not been able to get the football to him.
Haven't been able to get the football to him. He was a wide receiver, played as a wide receiver last year, just so valuable. Kind of, Coach Bauer said, you know, he ran kind of scared as a wide receiver, didn't know what to do, thinking too much, put him at running back, and he just blossomed. There you see it, the no huddle, they're going to go with it. They don't have time to huddle up any longer.
Tony Smith again spins off a tackle out of the 40-yard line and finally down at the 42. Jesse Campbell had to make the stop, and that's a run of 21 yards.
He's 210 pounds, 6'3". He has great hands, great acceleration. A little bit tired, too.
Yep. Barb just tried to send him to the sideline, and he said, no, I'll stay right here. Smith now 9 rushes for 36 yards. Brings it over the middle, has it complete to Marcus Pope, the tight end, and he'll take it across midfield. Clock is running, and we have just gone under 5.5 minutes to play. Dwayne Nelson checks in, and Tony Smith will get a breather.
NC State has played the same coverage the whole game. They're playing 2 deep safeties. They're letting their 2 great athletes cover a lot of field, and the corners playing up 5 short zones.
Pressure on Favre. Pass is completed, and he's belted down. It'll be enough for the first down. Dwayne Nelson caught the football, and Tyler Lawrence at the same time.
A little bit of a scissor action right here. Drops back into the pocket. Tyler Lawrence. Number 53, Mark Thomas, hits him. Gets the first down, though. The big guy gets back up, calls it at the line of scrimmage again.
Under 5 minutes left in this one. Favre with a short drop. Looking pass goes to Jackson, and that's close to the first down at the 35-yard line. Joe Johnson making the stop. And now Southern Mississippi with no huddle again. Back quickly over the ball. And the number 1 offensive line is in the ballgame because that's Camacho, 57, who is turning around and asking instructions. Again, it's Pope, breaks the tackle, and he is caught by the ankle, and I'll tell you, Billy Ray Haynes saved what could have been another 10 or 15 yards on the play.
This time he comes out of the pocket. There you see the zone coverage right here. He finds the tight end. Boom, puts a hit on him right there. He's into the secondary. Marcus Pope, just a sophomore, very, very talented. It's going to be a great tight end for him.
Clock runs. Southern Mississippi trailing by 10. play. Runs into his own man, breaks off the tackle, and will take it down to the 18-yard line. That's a good effort by Nelson.
Under 4 minutes to go. NC State, same defense, same look. No surprises. This time, you just line back up, 2 safeties. They're going to give them the short yards, make them use the clock. They don't want a quick strike.
Over the middle, has it complete to Montgomery inside the 5.
Boy, this freshman Mark Montgomery, he just got super hands. He was hit, and the ball was behind him just as he got the ball, and he still hung on it. He's had a diving catch and a couple other great catches tonight. Look at it, he's got the freshman record for Southern Mississippi. Look at the ball behind him, and that thing is thrown on a rope, and he catches it with the hit and simultaneously.
Lost it to Jackson, caught it, but he caught it out of bounds. 3:13 left in the ballgame.
Little fade pass instead of going to Montgomery like they did the first time. This time they go to Michael Jackson, the tall receiver. Ball just thrown a little too far to the outside. Good call by the referee. Jackson tried to get the toes down, but just couldn't quite get it.
This drive has covered 81 yards, Gary, because of the penalty. And probably the most important thing, should they score here, they have done it without using the timeout. So it means they still have them to use after they kick off, should they score. Pressure coming up the middle, running play, will score.
Well, I think you got to think about going for 2 here, Ron. You know, with a field goal, the best you can do is tie it. If you take an extra point, and it's just exactly the way he's thinking. He wants to go for the win. He knows he's going to have to find out right now. Little off-tackle slant right this time. Gets it into the open. The passing game opens it up for the running game. And they're going to think 2 right now because in order to win it, they're going to find out right now whether they need a touchdown or a field goal.
So Welch puts Southern Mississippi to within 4 points. Now, the last time they ran a 2-point conversion, they rolled far to the right. NC State was coming with pressure, and they threw it complete to Welch in the short flat.
Different formation this time.
NC State coming with the blitz again, and that pass knocked down. Oh, and there comes the flag. Savage looked as though he went over the top of it.
I'll tell you, I don't know what you want from defensive backs, but I mean, when the ball's in the air, they have a right to get for it too. I'm an offensive player.
I think because
he got him with the left hand in the back that time.
Just
and
before
he knocked the ball down. The ball was underthrown. It's going to be interference in the end zone. Got him with the little bit of a left hand. If he'd just have been patient, just 1 second longer, he could have had the easy knockdown. The big decision is here. You have to accept the penalty. There's no choice.
You don't have to. I mean, you can do a number on yourself. But
I think he's just delaying trying to come up with another play. Sebastian Savage is going against Mark Montgomery. The ball is thrown high and a little bit behind him. It's kind of a fade to the inside. Gives a shake to the outside. He beats him, but there you see the ball. He might get him. He might get him, but I don't know. I think it's tough to play one of those, you know, as a defensive back. He saw it right away, and he knew the penalty was called. He was going to get the play.
Defense occurred in the end zone. Ball will be placed on the 2-yard line.
Well, that's interesting. It started on the 3. You get a pass interference in the end zone, and you get a 1-yard penalty to the 2. You would think it would at least go to the 1.5.
And look what Southern Mississippi has done. Now they go to a power formation. With the ball at the 2. And they're going with a pass. He wants Pope. He's not there. Clark going to have to hurry, and he'll be sacked at the 20-yard line. So now we know. And now here comes a flag in late. Wow.
this is a big mistake right here. If this isn't post-possession right here, this is going to be even a bigger mistake than the last one.
And it'll put it at the 1-yard line, unless it is post. And Gary, either way, it's huge, because if they get a 15-yard penalty and it's post, and tack it on the onside kick, you'd be doing it from the 50-yard line.
I think it was after the whistle blew, though.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Will be penalized on the extra point. The extra point is no good.
On the kickoff is what he meant.
On the kickoff, yes. He should have thrown the ball away right here. Number 99, Mike Jones, slides into him, and that's where they call it. I don't know. That, you know.
Well, you know, I look at a situation.
It's not like he speared him or anything. He just kind of slid.
So, 31-27. We'll be right back. Mississippi misses on the 2-point conversion, so they understand full well that if they are able to get the football back, they still have to put it in the end zone.
Well, with the 15-yard penalty now, it makes it easy to go for the onside kick. You know, one call might be to pooch it down there, but I think they go for the onside kick. It gives them 2 chances to win. First, they can recover it and go for the touchdown, or if they don't get it, they still have a chance with 3 timeouts to get the ball back again.
NC State with only 1 man back in the good hands, 10 guys, and that's what they've done. They're going to pooch it short, and Savage will take it at the 5. Will not get back to the 20-yard line. Now, don't forget the SeaWorld Holiday Bowl, BYU and Texas A&M. That is tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time. And then the Mazda Gator Bowl, Michigan and Ole Miss on Tuesday. You know, we talked about Detmer, but Texas A&M would Lewis and also Wilson. That may be as good a tandem of running backs as anybody has in the country.
They faced some good talent in that Miami game early, but they're going to see just as good talent. Big 1 first down, you win the game.
You go with the draw play. Shaw hit at the line of scrimmage. He will have a gain of 1, but it's Rod Lynch. And now look for NC State to keep an eye on the 25-second clock, and they'll let that baby run down as far as it can go each time. Both teams with 3 timeouts. NC State doesn't care. They don't want to stop the clock. But that man right there does.
This is one of the benefits of college football with just that 25-second clock. The clock doesn't run a lot. You got to get up there and run plays.
Oh, my goodness, what a hit. That is Lynch again. It was like he came out of a tree. He came at a down angle and hit him. And now Southern Mississippi has taken one of their 3 timeouts, and they stop the clock at 2:18.
Number 59, Rod Lynch, left side linebacker, is just going to fly over the intended blocker. Here's a guy coming out of nowhere to make the tackle. He had a blocking back on him. He just laid out and made the tackle, and then he shows it to his fans on the sideline. And they've only lost, 30 seconds right here, and it's 3rd and 9. One more big stop. What are you going to do if you're Coach Sheridan? I think you need to throw the ball. You know, you want to run the ball because you want him to use another timeout, but it's going to be tough to pick up a first down just running the ball against his defense.
6 tackles for Lynch. 2:10 remaining. And let's go to Tim Brando and get an update from him. Timmy.
And just as you throw it to me, Ron, a touchdown by Casey Weldon, a 5-yard run after a Craig Fayak field goal for Penn State. They have added the extra point. It is now 24-10 Florida State. Boy, what a message Florida State is sending. If we did have a Final Four in college football, Florida State would be in it.
Jimmy, I want you to just figure in your mind, if you're going to schedule Florida State, don't play them in either November, December, or January, because they just haven't lost much in those months in recent years.
They don't lose after Halloween.
They really don't. Time to schedule them is early. That's when they lose, if they're going to lose at all.
Well, they might not do it. As you mentioned last time, our last game, they play at Michigan, and they play at Florida, but I still think they're preseason number 1 going in next year. What a football team. Hey, our own game right here. 3rd and 10, right?
3rd and 10, and Gary, if you're NC State, you want desperately to pick up the first down, but do you take a chance on throwing the football down here?
I think you got to play to win. And I know you can play to win running the ball, and there's different ways to look at it, but I like to throw the ball in this situation. Let's see what you got. It's a fun game. It's a bold game. You're going for it, and you give a message to your players, especially Terry Jordan, for the future that you believe in, and see what happens with it. if you run the ball, you do have the effect, if you don't make it, of burning another timeout, though.
Shaw and Cotton are the two running backs. They need the 28. And they go with the running play, and Shaw will have 1 yard. That's it. Tim Roberts. Now, the second timeout has been called by Southern Mississippi. They have 1 remaining. And the other thing to keep in mind, as NC State for the second time in a row will send number 37, Tim Kilpatrick, out to do the punting, is that this has not been the most sure situation for the Wolfpack all season long.
And they lost their number 1 punter for the game, so this is their backup in this game. I mean, this is another opportunity for Southern Mississippi to go for the block, too, because if they don't intentionally rough the pig kicker, it's going to be another opportunity to punt it again, so they could potentially block the kick also.
That's right. Running into the kicker still would not give them the first down since it's a 4th down and 9.
But no matter what, they should end the ball, with pretty good field position here, and they've got a quarterback that, with 2 minutes to go on the clock, that's plenty of time. He's got time to run, 12 plays.
1 timeout remaining for Southern Mississippi. 2:17 showing on the clock. And back at a single safety is a man who led the nation in kick returns last year, Tony Smith. A time for him to really atone for what has not been a good night for him. Southern Miss coming after him up the middle. Kick, return to the left, and he will not make it back to midfield. So it's at the 47-yard line with 2:06 remaining. 35 yards on the kick and 1 yard on the return. And Gary, quite frankly, as a former quarterback, this is an absolute eternity with 1 timeout.
Not only is it eternity, it's kind of like a dream, too. Your senior season, you've got all the passing records, you got 2 minutes on the clock with an opportunity to win the game. This is what you dream about as being a quarterback, an opportunity to win a football game. With his talent, you got to bet in his favor.
He's 24 of 32 for 308 yards and 1 interception. Tony Smith, the lone setback behind Farr. They set screen to the near side of the field. Flags come down. It's going to be a clip against Southern Mississippi at the 45-yard line. Billy Ray Haynes made the play defensively.
Michael Jackson came from behind and clipped and got a little aggressive, and big mistake right there.
Showing on the clock.
Clipping penalty on a screen play. Bottom right-hand side of your screen, number 1, Michael Jackson clips Fernandez Vinson. The snake from behind. Wasn't much of a play to begin with anyway. Wasn't going to pick up big yardage, but the clip takes him back. It's going to make it a little bit tougher. 1:55 to go.
What's on that hash mark, gentlemen? Flipping. Offense. Enforced from the previous spot, 15 yards, still first down.
So the ball now has been pushed back to the 32-yard line. Jeff Bauer, former quarterback at Southern Mississippi, former assistant coach at Southern Mississippi, now the head coach. Over the middle, Michael Jackson with a diving attempt, can't get there. It'll be second down, and the clock is stopped with 1:38.
The penalty, what the penalty has done now to his passing game is taken him out of those little dump 5, 6, 7-yard passes. Now he's got to throw the ball down the field, those 12, 18-yarders, and hasn't been throwing a lot of them lately. He just seems to be a little bit off. He led Michael Jackson a little bit too much on that play. Same defense, NC State, 2 free safeties, corners up. They haven't changed once.
And they're sneaking a little further off the football with each snap. Favre, deep over the middle, and that's going to be pass interference. Good heavens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. I'm not sure I've ever seen that many on one call, Gary.
Yeah, well, when you know for sure everybody's not afraid to throw the flag, nobody's going to be shy on that one.
Well, and of course, the thing right here is now NC State is going to give them a first down back with this call.
This time Brett Favre floats out to his left a little bit. He's got Michael Jackson running the square in. He guns the ball in there. I mean, if he didn't have the gun, it would have been obvious interference anyway. But it came in, and there's no doubt about it. Jesse Campbell came over the back, and that, Rod, is interference.
This game is being played on Friday. Jesse Campbell left on Thursday on that play.
The other ones were ticky-tack calls. This one was the real thing. Now it's back into it. Minute 30 to go, and he's got to...
But see, the other thing also that it's done is the chains have moved, so that they erased. They go back to a first down situation, Gary, and the ball now 53 yards away from the end zone with a minute and a half left to play.
It's just where they started the whole series.
Yeah. Just about.
I don't think we're going to see the screen anymore, though.
Favre over the middle, Pope threw it just a little bit behind it.
Pope read the zone and tried to curl back to his left. Favre read it to his right a little bit of miscommunication. Brett threw it a little early. He had time, relax, wait till the guy makes his break, put it in there. One of the tendencies of the 2-minute drill, you know, the great ones, Unitas, and Fran Tarkington, and name it, they had a lot of patience in the 2-minute drill. They know a minute 25 is an eternity, as you said.
31-27, NC State leading. Favre under pressure. Billy Ray Jackson cuts it up the middle. He is inside the 40-yard line, and that is another first down, Southern Mississippi. Billy Ray Haynes on the stop. Good for 14, and the clock still shows 1:17 to play.
That's the idea right there. Put yourself on the defense as the quarterback. They're afraid of getting burned for the touchdown. They want to have everything happen in front of them. You throw it, let your guy run a little bit. You don't have to throw the ball all the way to the end zone. Pitch and catch and let them make some first downs after they catch the ball.
John Camacho, the senior from Port Lavaca, Texas, out over the football. Again, they go over the middle. Ball is tipped and almost caught by Pope. I don't believe it. I thought for a moment that Merritt had made the pickoff. I thought take it away from him.
Well, I think Merritt helped the catch. I mean, he wasn't going to catch it until it was tipped back to him. Little hook over the middle to Pope. There you see it. Merritt tips it right back into him, and he lands up right on his stomach. Well, we've seen everything tonight.
Billy Ray Jackson tries to get to the sideline. They're not going to allow it. It is going to be a third down, and Southern Mississippi's got to use the timeout here. It is their last timeout with 30 seconds showing on the clock.
Super play by Wade Burton there, number 28. That saved 10 seconds on the clock and a timeout. Nice play, just keeping the guy from going out of bounds.
So let's talk about what the options are. There was a big 0 and timeouts left on Southern Mississippi's side of the ledger. The ball is resting just inside the 32-yard line. It's going to be a third down and 3. And Brett Favre and the Golden Eagles are down by 4 points.
Well, the advantage here in college football is the clock does stop after a first down. So they have 2 shots at throwing the ball past the down marker. The big mistake they could make now is to throw the ball short of the down marker and have that clock keep running. So he has to throw it for first down yardage and then get up there and throw the ball away. Just ground it real fast and come back, and you've got 3 more plays to throw for the end zone.
Boy, NC State in the second half has really done a marvelous job against Favre.
Well, they've bottled them up. They've had the block punt for the touchdown, and then the last drive, they kind of sat back and let them move the chains a little bit until they got down close.
Pass is caught for the first down at the 21-yard line. Jackson on the receiving end of that one.
Get up there. Only 22 seconds to go. Get up there and snap that ball as quick as you can. Great catch there by Eddie Ray Jackson. That ball was there as he turned around. That was a super play. Snap it off. Snap it off.
so long. He's not going to waste it down. Ball is flipped, incomplete, and that play took it all the way to 8.
That was the big miss. That was a great miss by right there. I'll tell you, if they would have caught it, the game is over. The ball has to be thrown in the end zone. They really goofed up a little bit right there. They should have thrown the ball out of bounds and huddled back, and they would have known something.
Yeah, they rushed right there and just spent a lot of money and got nothing for it.
And now this is going to be the last play of the game. 8 seconds. I mean, they have to throw the ball to the end zone.
Ron Franklin along with Gary Danielson and Jerry Punch. Hope you're enjoying this 1990 All-America Bowl. Immediately following is Sports Center. But right now, enjoy it with us. Is it going to be a Southern Mississippi touchdown, or is NC State going to win? 8 ticks left. Pressure, ball is dropped, and the clock has run out. Flags all over the field.
Got a flag on the field.
Flag back at the 34-yard line. NC State has already come on the field, starting their celebration. That's it. The ball game is over. NC State has defeated Southern Mississippi by a final count of 31-27, and we saw a lot of bizarre action, particularly in the last minute and a half of this one.
Well, I don't think you get many bowl games are going to match the type of play that was in this game and the intensity and the hitting that was in this game. Might not have been the prettiest kicking game, and the special teams were a little lax all day, but there was some big-time effort in this game. Favre and Jordan played great football games, and NC State stuck one out.
And let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Well, with Coach Dick Sheridan, first, Coach, congratulations. You said the defense had to do it in the second half, and they did.
Well, there was an exciting finish to that ball game, and when we had to do it right there at the end, we came up with the plays. They have a great team, and to beat a team the caliber of Southern Miss, I think will give us a big lift going in next year.
Your offense moved the ball also in the second half, ran the ball real well, particularly at the fullback position.
Well, I think the play that gave us the 31 points was obviously very big to give us a 10-point cushion. We needed every point we could get.
Coach, the rug hasn't been good to you over the years. The carpet, you haven't had that many wins. This has to be pretty sweet for you.
Well, I think having the chance to practice 3 days on this artificial surface really helped us.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Dick Sheridan winning here in the All-American Bowl. A great win, a tremendous close game, 31-27. Ron?
Okay, thanks, gentlemen. Congratulations to Dick and his ball club. As we told you off the top of the telecast, they came down the stretch playing better football, and they proved it tonight as they defeated a good Southern Mississippi team. Well, tonight's Isuzu players of the game are from NC State. There he is. Well, let's take Southern Mississippi first then. It is Mr. Favre, who had a fantastic evening for over 300 yards. And from NC State, it will be the quarterback, Mr. Jordan. And Terry, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida, guiding his football team to victory in this one this evening. Oh, don't forget, we got a lot of great football coming up here on ESPN as the remainder of the holidays approach. The SeaWorld Holiday Bowl. Number 13, BYU against Texas A&M. That one tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time, and then the Mazda Gator Bowl on New Year's Day, beginning at 11:30 a.m., Michigan and Ole Miss.
Well, we zeroed in on the two quarterbacks. They did a great job, both of them. But a special salute to the NC State defense. They really buckled it up, took away a lot of things that Brett Favre was doing in the first half. And it's their defense that carried them all year, and it carried them in this victory. Look forward to seeing you down in the Gator Bowl.
Hey, listen, I do too. I think that's going to be a fun football game down there as well. Well, that is going to wrap it up from Birmingham. Sports Center follows this next break. We say thanks for joining us tonight. Again, our final score, NC State 31 and Southern Mississippi 27.